Luxury jumps on a Boeing jet, leaves behind the family, no regrets. He's got a birthday on your old Shanghai. Eyes are on Mrs. Lai, the reason why. While in Brisbane, the tears roll strong. Chinese whispers called him to Hong Kong. Pack up your bags and off you go. Leave behind the begging for the Luxury show. Archie flies where the dragon soared to romance Mrs. Lai until his bulls are sore. Archie's chasing dreams in the mystic land. Mrs. Lai brings coffee to his hand. Family's calls echo on the phone. He's miles away, lost, but he's not alone. In old Shenzhen's glow, he likes to stray. With Mrs. Lai, they bonk till the light of day. Pack up your bags and off you go. He's not showing up to New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Though the tears roll down in Brisbane town, Archie's 3-inch dick flops all around. Celebrations in the neon night, forgetting home, he's chasing new Asian delights. Pack up your bags and off you go. Leave the begging for the beach ball show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Weeks later, Archie leaves his playground. Comes back home, he's Brisbane bound. Comes up with stories that he's going bust. Has to fool the punters to gain their trust. Pack up your bags and off you go. Leave the begging for the beach ball show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Archie spent the punter's money, he's in a fix. Spins a story that he can't eat bricks. All the lonely simps believe his scam. Grab all that cash, shove it in his hand. Pack up your bags and off you go. He didn't bother with the New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Comes on streams, he cries poor again. His mate Tan gives him $5 grand, maybe 10. Archie thinks he's a big swing dick, cause the punters fall for his gypsy shtick. Pack up your bags and off you go. Didn't bother with the New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore.
All right, everybody, welcome to the program. Welcome to the show, guys. This is the Archie Luxury live stream and the Archie Luxury channel. I'm your host for now, Patek Philippe. We're going to be doing a bit of Rolex Watch Talk bonus round today before the Pontiff shows up in about, I don't know, an hour. I know he's up because he's spamming the WhatsApp groups with a bunch of nonsense. So, you know, we're going to do some Watch Talk. We haven't done a ton of Watch Talk this week, I think, on the show. I've been a bit under the weather the past week, and you know, I wanted to talk about this topic about the Submariner, and you know, it was just tough for me to do you know, an hour. As you guys know, I don't take any breaths as I do these shows, so you know, I wanted to make sure that was a little bit better. I was able to cover this topic because it's a really interesting topic about Rolex. You guys have probably seen me talk about Rolex's kind of UK history and Rolex's you know, how I actually, you know, I will go so far as to say that Rolex is a British brand. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the history of the Submariner, a bit of an unknown history. You see a lot of articles online around the Submariner. You've seen a lot of regurgitation on YouTube over the same old shit about the Submariner. But, you know, I've obviously recently picked up the Nick Folks book on the Submariner. And in that book, you know, most people, when they read that book, the Nick Folks book on the Submariner, a lot of folks basically beeline to the production numbers. And, you know, while that's cool and I, you know, I thought it was great, there's a little nugget of history in there that was pretty unknown prior to the release of the book. And it really talked about the evolution of Submariner that is wildly fascinating to me. So I'll get into that here in a second, guys. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat, folks that have joined us. We got 30 people join us. Appreciate everybody joining us early for the early start today. We got Seb Nelly or Tickle My Talk saying what's up. We got Watch Nick in the chat. JB. We got Marcelo Time all the time in the chat. We got Night Diver, Mikey Casio GTR, my good friend, Tom Burnett, who I'm looking forward to seeing in Geneva in a few weeks in the chat. Nice to see you, sir. We got One You See It, Darth Nagus, and Matt Lindell. Hey, we got Hippo Lord as well. One more. Nice to see you, Hippo Lord. We got Bugsy Malone, an OG in the chat. Nice to see you guys. So Rolex history. Let's start about the topic of Rolex being a British brand. Now, I was watching Thomas Burnett's show. Check it out, called The Escapement Show. He streams. I think it's either bi-weekly on Saturdays on the Escapement Show channel. Great, he did great coverage of the British Watchmakers show, and it kind of got me thinking about British brands and what brands I consider British. And it's weird because I probably have a very unpopular opinion that of the belief that Rolex is a British brand or had British heritage that really isn't talked about that much on YouTube, in articles. They touch on it. It is actually on Rolex's website, so I'm gonna pull this up for you guys on a bit of the history, like the early years of Rolex. So 1905, Hans Wilsdorf found, he's the founder of the company. It says 1905, at age 24, Hans Wilsdorf founded a company in London specializing in the distribution of watches. Began to, basically it's talking about the era of moving from the pocket watch to the wristwatch, and really talking about Hans Wilsdorf being a bit of a pioneer. Now, right off the rip, Rolex talks about the founding of the company being in London. Okay, so that connection to the UK, right off the bat, starts from the founding of the company, in London, and is a distribution company for watches, right? Really the movement of moving pocket watches to wristwatches. This is probably, I'd say, one of the most interesting parts of this history. So it's pointing to Hans Wilsdorf in 1908, and says, when we hear the term 1908, you guys have obviously heard the watch, the 1908. 1908, genius in 5 letters. He said, I tried combining the letters of the alphabet in every possible way. This gave me some 100 names, but none of them felt quite right. One morning, while riding on the upper deck of a horse-drawn omnibus alongside Cheapslide in the city of London, a genie whispered Rolex in my ear. So very interesting choice of words by Rolex here. Rolex doesn't do anything by mistake. They are pretty calculated, I would say, especially on their website when they're talking about their history. But right away, we see 3 years later, the brand is still in London, and even the name Rolex is invented in London. So a very strong connection, in my opinion, to British heritage, to it being a UK company. At least it started off that way, and just very interesting. Now, the choice of words is very, I found it very intriguing, where Hans Wilsdorf says, "Oh, genie whispered in my ear, it's whispered Rolex in my ear." Now, I don't know how to really interpret that. I don't think we'd take it at face value, but is Rolex trying to imply that Hans Wilsdorf may have gotten the name Rolex from somebody else, right? A genie whispered in my ear, or is it more of a matter of fact? Oh, it just kind of popped in my head, right? But then the question is that why didn't they just kind of say it popped in his head? Why is it a genie whispered Rolex? So when I kind of look at that, I kind of wonder, like, did he actually come up with that name Rolex? Did he hear it, on this omnibus? Did he hear somebody saying something that sounded like Rolex, and then in his mind he's like, Rolex, could be a name. I don't know, but for me, this heritage, this link to Britain, is very interesting, and it's often not talked about when it comes to Rolex. When people think of Rolex, they think of it as a Swiss brand, but and I think Roy said it there, saying, didn't he move the business to Switzerland? He did, but I mean, as you can see here, the business was founded in 1905, and it wasn't until I think 1920. Let's see here, 1919. Rolex moved to Geneva, a city renowned internationally for watchmaking. Montre Rolex SA was registered in Geneva in 1920. Right, so we're talking about 15 years later, and realistically, 12 years after the name Rolex in and of itself was invented. So, do I feel that? Do I feel that it's when Roy said that yesterday, I'm like, nah, Roy, it didn't exactly happen that way. He didn't just found the company in 1901 and then in 1902 he was in Switzerland. No, like, this was a period of 15 years, of which 12 years after the name Rolex was invented, did the did the brand move to Switzerland. So, I'm still kind of the proponent that Rolex is, whether it's a British brand today, I don't know, but started off as a British brand, in my opinion. and does have a lot of British heritage, which I'm actually going to get into here in a few minutes. Mike the Snake says, "Secret ode to a lover." Yeah, Mike, it could be a lot of things, right? When a genie whispered in my ear, it's the choice of words that they used in this article, on their website. They write right here, "A genie whispered Rolex in my ear." It's a very interesting choice of words, Mike. Because if the idea just popped in his head, it could be like, yeah, I was just on the street and just popped into my head. It didn't say that, right? A genie whispered in my ear. Does that mean it was a secret lover? Does that mean it was somebody else? I don't know. But yeah, just very interesting the way they've presented it on the website. But we will talk about more of the UK connection here in a second. I just want to give a shout out to Hippo Lord, who has become a new YouTube member. Appreciate that, Hippo Lord. Memberships keep the lights on here in the Archieverse alongside super chats. All of them are welcome. I actually did a bit of homework, Dirk. I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a few days now, and it's really the history of the Submariner, the kind of unknown history that came out in that Nick Folks book that honestly very few people, if any, are actually talking about. Most people, when they talk about the Nick Folks Submariner book, Dirk, they're talking about the production numbers of Rolex. They're talking about the production numbers of certain models of the Submariner in that book, but not so much on the history. And when we kind of look at the history, there's kind of this. You guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys all know this, but a lot of the credit to the Submariner and its predecessor, the Turnograph. There's a bit more to the story that came out in that book. A lot of really archived articles and archived pieces from Rolex that you just will never see are in that book. It is super fascinating on the history. Mikey Calcio GTR says Hans Wilsdorf did go into biz with his brother-in-law. There you go. And Loose Tooth says, not like he's going to eye wax on the toilet, squeezing on an unholy dump. Could be, man. It could be, but a genie, said it in my ear. I don't know. Interesting, but he was. They do say Loose Tooth. He wasn't on the can because they do say he was on some kind of a horse and carriage on that Cheapside, London. So definitely a very interesting, angle and story. So getting to the Submariner, okay. So you guys have here on the left the Turnograph, which is up until now probably credited as the predecessor to the Submariner. You can obviously see timing bezel, Mercedes hands, very, very design-wise looks like a Submariner. But I'm going to talk a bit about the history prior to this, prior to the diving bezel, prior to all this jazz that's there. Yeah, this is an interesting angle, Bugsy Malone. So Bugsy Malone says, isn't Genie an anglicized version of the Arabic Jinn? It actually is. Look, there's also, and maybe this is for the Mike the Snake and Tans out there that look kind of like the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, look, early 20th century is, I'd say it's a bit more mainstream. You hear a lot of stories of seances, and these are things, right? These are social things. So yeah, I mean, there is that angle that maybe it was supernatural. I think that's a bit far fetched, but yeah, I mean, their choice of words again at Rolex is very interesting. Obviously, probably came directly from Hans Wilsdorf, but we'll never really know. I think Mike the Snake may have had probably a better indication of maybe somebody said it to him, or it wasn't his idea. When he says a genie said it to me, could have been anybody, right? Or it could have been, like you said, a supernatural spirit, Bugsy Malone, like an evil spirit waiting to one day never let you buy the watch you want, even though it's in the safe. Yes, very, very, very good. Mikey Casio GTR says Cheapside is the Banks/St. Paul's area. Well, thank you, Mikey Casio GTR. So historically, up until now, the Turnograph was really kind of considered the grandpappy, or really the where the sub evolved from. But from the Nick Folks book, it's actually there's a bit more to the story. Okay, so when I talked about Rolex being a British brand, the connection to the Rolex with Rolex and the UK Navy is pretty paramount to the development of the Submariner. So in the I think it was the early 1950s, Rolex was looking obviously they had equipment, at their facility to test for water resistance at certain pressures and whatnot. But what they didn't have was they didn't have real world testing experience. And so Rolex was of the, they got the idea of potentially sending a few of their watches to the UK Navy, specifically uh, a ship called the HMS Reclaim that was off the western coast of Scotland in Loch Fyne. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Mental Jock, let me know if it's Loch Fyne or Loch Fin. I don't know. Loch Fyne, I'll call it. In the early 1950s. So Rolex was, had the idea of like, look, we want to real world test these, and what better way to do that than, test it through the Navy that are actually doing diving activities off the coast of Scotland. So Rolex ends up sending, I think it's like 3 watches over to the HMS Reclaim, whose specific, I think, job of that vessel was underwater. I think the name Reclaim is I don't know if it was solving issues of underwater problems, or doing a lot of. I mean, there's a ton of scuba diving and some submariner activity off of that. Yep, Lockfine is pronunciation is perfect. Thank you. Um, so that ship was specifically used for diving and doing diving exercises, military exercises off the coast of Scotland. And so Rolex sends 3 watches up to them, and basically are like, well, why don't you test these out? We've tested them to, I think they were about 100 meters water resistance at the time, and so they somehow get these watches onto the ship and into the hands of the Navy. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, because Rolex, was not authorized to do this. They didn't have, they weren't a contractor of the Ministry of Defense, or the UK military in that sense. They somehow, through a connection or what have you, got those watches onto the ship for testing. Okay, and what's fascinating here is when they try to get, when Rolex London tries to get data or feedback from the Navy around, really how's been their experience with the watches. It was very difficult because of this conflict, because they had not actually, they weren't actually supposed to have those watches on there. They had not bid against other competitors. It was really off the cuff. They shouldn't really have had those watches over there. And so, and now the testing did occur, and actually with great feedback. 100. I think it was like it got to about 400 feet before they started having some issues, and even the issues I think that they had was the watch had stopped working. But it could have been that the watch just didn't have any power; it hadn't been wound properly before the dive. But wild success, from these watches on the HMS Reclaim, to the point where really the top officers appreciated these watches and were recommending to bring these watches in to the military because of their water resistance and how well they had performed. However, Rolex was not really official with the UK Navy at the time, so it did take a little bit of time. But Rolex, obviously, as everybody knows, Rolex was able to issue watches to UK divers. Now, here's the real interesting part. The watch that they were sending, right, was at the time was not called the Submariner. Was not even, when you see this Turner graph on the left here on the screen, didn't even look like that. Didn't have a diving bezel, and really looked more like the watch in the middle. The watches that were actually sent to the HMS Reclaim for dive testing was the Explorer 6150. There's an article. I'm going to try to find if it's on. I don't have all the. I obviously have the book beside me, but let me just pull you guys up. This is a report. From Mr. Sheldrick, who worked for Rolex on his visit to the HMS Reclaim. I'm going to read this out for you guys because I find this super fascinating, and it's a great part of the story. The 3 steel Rolex Oyster Perpetual watches were duly delivered by me to HMS Reclaim on Tuesday, the 11th of March. The ship was lying off of Inverary, Loch Fyne, in the Western Highlands of Scotland. It is a deep-sea diving ship, the only one of its kind in the British Navy, operating around home waters. HMS Reclaim is stationed at this spot at the present time for the purpose of passing out certain experienced naval divers in their final deep-sea diving tests. They have already passed out in the diving school and at other depths elsewhere. Loch Fyne happens to be an ideal spot for these tests as it has great depths and in certain places goes down to more than 500 feet. On Wednesday morning, the 12th of March, I was privileged to accompany the deep sea diving officer on the diving flat and was able to watch the whole of the morning's operations. It will convey some idea of the meticulous care and attention that has been given when it is seen that it takes a team of 10 people to put one diver down in the water to do this job. Every one of this team responsible for his own particular detail in the operation. I was therefore very gratified to be allowed to have a personal close-up of this work to see our watches used in these circumstances. The deep sea diving officer strapped a watch on one of its divers while I was there, and this man descended to a depth of 240 feet. At that depth, the pressure is 128 pounds to the square inch, and the man remained at this depth for 14 minutes. He was, in fact, immersed for a much longer period because after going to such depth, the diver has to be brought up slowly with stops at various stages so that he becomes accustomed to normal pressure without harm to human system. When the watch was eventually returned to me, I dried it off and found it to be quite normal and going perfectly. So really interesting, here excerpts from, and this note was actually in the archives of Rolex in Verure. Thank you. I know Bugsley's in Scotland, so helping out. I call Blue Archie will be here probably in about an hour. Just doing a bit of a pre-show here for you guys. So this I don't know if you call it an article, but this little message that you see on the screen was in the Rolex archives, previously unknown to historians, to people, Rolex fans and whatnot. But it really talks about, and we're talking in the period of the actual development of the Submariner, before the Submariner ever came out. Rolex was sending, you can see here, it says 3 steel Rolex Oyster Perpetual watches, which if you read further down this article, still in 1952, the Rolex watches on the wrists of the elite Navy divers were not called the Submariner, but were known as Explorer models, the reference 6150. So that the Submariner was born from the Explorer is another revelation from the archives about the origins of Rolex's dive watch. The Explorer model 6150 would be improved upon thanks to the Admiralty with a larger dial and a rotating bezel, according to the book, even becoming at some point the official Royal Naval diver's watch, waterproof down to 400 feet. So this is what I find absolutely fascinating about this, the Nick Folks book, and really this new revelation of history. Bear Clooney and I have been kind of going back and forth about the Rolex Explorer. I'm a huge fan of the Rolex Explorer. I actually took my Submariner off that I was wearing today, and I put on my Explorer 40, really to kind of talk about this topic, because previously, we all thought that the Submariner was a development off of the Turnograph, which is on the left, but it actually wasn't. These watches that Rolex was sending because they wanted to, build a dive watch or market their watches as dive watches were actually Explorers. 6150. I think this is a 6150 up on the screen here for you guys. It might be a 1016, but maybe I think this is a 6150. This watch in the center was actually the dive watch that was sent to the UK Navy, and the Admiralty had requested actually the diving bezel, on the watch. So it is such a cool history when I kind of go back to the topic of Rolex being a British brand or having a lot of British heritage. I mean, if you really think about their most iconic watch, the Submariner, the watch that, when everyone says, what's your best one and done, or what watch you would probably recommend to somebody who's buying their first Rolex, is more than likely going to be the Submariner. And for the Submariner to have such a development tie to the UK Navy is extremely fascinating to me, because the watch started in the center as an Explorer, and the Admiralty had asked for a timing bezel for the dives and whatnot, and that's where you see the evolution to the right of the Submariner. I think that's a 6204 Submariner on the right. And I'll show you a few more Submariner models as I go down the list, but so Bear and I have been kind of going back and forth, and Bear says, nothing bores me more than the Explorer. And I think it, knowing even the history right now, I think I said it yesterday in a super chat. I said, if there was no Explorer, there'd be no sub. And there's a lot of truth to that. So for me, the Explorer, not just in its connection to, you know, the questionable ascent of Mount Everest, but even that aside, I mean, the fact that those were explorers that were going down with the Navy divers, for testing as Rolex was developing, their, what would become the Submariner. That's just absolutely fascinating to me that the Explorer has such a rich history and has such a connection to probably the most iconic watch that the Rolex makes out there. Topster McDonkey. I love my Explorer two tone. I also have the 39 mil Mark II. I've had that watch. It's a nice watch, which I sadly never wear. But my two tone is one of my daily drivers. Yeah, man. I've owned the 39 mil Mark II. It's a great watch. I always felt the proportions were just a little off. I don't know why. And then I bought the Explorer 40, which again is not a perfect watch. I still feel that the proportions are somewhat a little off, but I think it's a step in the right direction, for me at least. But yeah, for me, I think that it's super. The history of the Explorer. A lot of folks look at the Explorer and they say, "Well, it's just a plain watch. What is so special about it?" Well, I mean, this watch it was made when we talk about the true tool watch. Like that's what this was. This was just a watch that was extremely accurate, that could work at extreme temperatures, that was meant for exploring, mountaineering, whatever you want to call it. But just a watch that was an honest, good tool watch that then that develops into the Submariner, the most iconic watch, right? Nobody ever talked about this before the Nick Folks book came out. That the Explorer was the true, like in this article. This article is actually from Hodinkee, and it just really talks about these three watches coming out at the same time. 1953 was a big year for Rolex. You got the chronograph on the left, you got the Explorer in the center, and you got the Submariner on the right. But they're not talking about the fact that the one on the right wouldn't have existed without the one in the middle, because that's the one that was actually being sent to the UK Navy, and they were the ones that were saying, "Yeah, you know what? We want this. Put a timing bezel on it." And that's where the evolution and the connection to the UK is fascinating, because we just don't talk about when you talk about Rolex, you talk about a Swiss watch brand. You don't talk about a potentially a British watch brand, if you want to go so far as saying that. At least one with a lot of British heritage. For me, that just gets completely ignored. So when I think of British watches, Rolex to me does come to mind. I do feel that Rolex has, and not to not to even talk about the Tudor brand name. That's another story. But just this connection with the Submariner, and having tested and developed the Submariner from the UK military, is absolutely fascinating, because it's just a part of the story we didn't know up until this book's release. And we don't talk a lot about this. We mostly talk about the production numbers of Rolex. I'm kind of a history nerd. I dig this kind of stuff. And yeah, for me to know that the Rolex Submariner actually evolved from the Explorer is wildly fascinating. We got Dear Artifact. I've said it many times. The Explorer and the Note 8 Sub are the most interesting models in the Rolex catalog. I honestly don't even call it the Note 8 Dear Artifact. I mean, you have the Submariner and you have the Submariner date, right? Like there was no date. It was always just the Submariner, which did not have a date. I would say that the Submariner, just the Submariner is a very classic, it's classic design, a classic, it's a purpose built watch, and you don't really need a date. When the Rolex 1680 came out, that was the first introduction of the date. Not only did they introduce the date, but um, they also introduced precious metal into the Submariner, which really was the evolution of its tool watch period, which was up until the early to mid 60s, I would say. And then, from that point onwards, the Submariner really became a luxury watch. It was a watch with a date. You didn't really need a date when you go diving, as well as in precious metal, like going into solid gold, which was the first iteration of the 1608, sorry, the 1680. Jay Gray, those three examples are yeah, man, absolutely. Beautiful looking watches. For me, I love actually a Submariner with an Explorer dial. I think that's the coolest configuration, I would say. I'm going to show you guys actually a couple of other watches related to this topic before I go a little bit deeper into the Submariner. So reading between the lines, you're saying that Rolex tested in Scotland and it became iconic on the wrist of a Scotsman. And Sean, hey, that's a great point, Bugsy Malone. Like definitely, right? Like Sean Connery in the Bond films. I mean, wearing the Submariner has sent generations after that watch for sure. But just a ton of, a ton of history.
Hello, I'm ArchieLuxury and welcome to the program. Today I'd like to introduce a new service, ArchieLuxury's Fashion Advice for a Fee. That's right, for $10 US, ArchieLuxury, Fashion Advice for a Fee. A new service to fans of the ArchieLuxury channel. I wear it as a dress, see, it's a man dress, see, because it's long enough. So look, it's a dress. It's a dress. And I can go like that, can't I? Very simply, send me the money to in the details section of this video is a PayPal address you can send the money to, and then send me a photo of your question. If it's say you want to know, does this briefcase, should I buy it? I'm a lawyer. Should I buy this briefcase or should I buy this one, or what do you recommend? And just tell me, give me a paragraph about what the problem is, and I'll answer it for you.
민주주의인 공화국 무력 최고 사령관이신 경애하는 김정은 동지께서 하시자 알티움 발사를 위한 전투 정보가
All right, folks, sorry about that. Had a bit of technical difficulties. My internet actually blipped and went offline, but I got to hop on, run a few clips for you guys. I'm back in action here. Let me pull up. Yeah, let me get this up here for you guys on the screen. Get some video back here for us watching. So I don't know, Bugsy, if you heard. Yeah, it was. I lost a bit of internet. You can let me know if the audio is back there, Bugsy. What's going on, Kelso?
Yo, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. My internet just blipped off, and then had to, I was on this roll about like Rolex being a British brand and the connection to the UK Navy, and and it's funny because they just don't. Nobody ever talks about that. It's kind of that hidden history of Rolex. And
Yeah, no one does. Everyone's kind of moved on from that. Hey, pull up that three-piece photo you just had up. Those those vintage guys. Because you know what I was noticing that's kind of fascinating? The one in the middle, the Explorer there.
Mhm.
You know, the Arabic numerals there, it looks just like the 1908.
Yeah, I mean the 1908 is this is classic Rolex, right? 369 is known in the Explorer. It's the Explorer dial, right? So
It's
one
kind
thing,
of cool. It just got me thinking, like, it's cool that, obviously their DNA has been, rooted in history for a long time. But it just got me thinking, this looks like a current 1908 with the bracelet. I wonder if they would throw a bracelet on that and kind of give a throwback vibe to this.
Well, that's what I always said about Rolex and why they failed with the Cellini was there was no Rolex DNA in the Cellini. And when you look at the 1908, right away you recognize the 3, 6, and 9, right, from the Explorer. And I think that's partly, I think if Rolex sticks to more of its DNA, Jubilee bracelet, oyster case, or like you see here on the dial, right? Like that is gonna people buy Rolexes because they look like Rolexes. They don't buy them because they don't look like Rolexes. What's going on, Roy?
How you doing?
What's
I'm
up?
good, man. I'm good. Papa Mike Whiskey says, I would not point it to originally British. It is more international. Hans Wilsdorf was German, that's true, and moved to London and later Switzerland. Now, Roy, you talked about this yesterday. I kind of pointed out from like the website
Yeah.
that, brand was founded in 1905, doesn't move to Switzerland until about 1920. The guy was German. He wasn't a British, person. He wasn't, British descent, I guess you could say. All I'm saying is that there's a lot of really unknown history about Rolex's connection to the UK, especially in the development of the Submariner here that I talked about. It's a fascinating book. If you don't have it, buy that Nick Folks book on the Submariner because it really has a lot of just tidbits that are just unknown. They were unknown up until right now. Roy, have you read the book? Have you had a chance to check it out?
No, I've not seen it before. It's I've just been listening to you talk about it. It's definitely interesting, the things that it brings to light.
Yeah, it's at a time when Rolex was known for two things, right? It was known for the oyster case, and it was known for the perpetual movement.
Yeah.
Pairing
And I'm
the
assuming they sent the Explorers, because didn't the Explorers at that time have a bit more of a robust movement compared to like a Datejust Turnograph? Would that be the reason why they sent them?
Yeah, I think it is. And it's written by the I don't know if it was an admiral or whoever was the commanding officer of the HMS Reclaim. Probably not an admiral, but the commanding officer of the HMS Reclaim writes in, and obviously I don't have it because it's in the book, and I don't want to. I'm not going to be bothered to take screenshots and stuff. But he actually writes that the watches provided were known as Explorers 6150 model. So he specifically calls it out that it was, and I would assume what you're saying is true because that's what the Explorer was marketed as, is this high grade movement that was able to withstand, all different types of environments, now including diving, it's fascinating that, they would take the Explorer as that one, but it was really the Navy that had said, hey, can you develop this to look more like the Submariner, which is pretty cool.
And you could still find some rare Explorer dial subs out there. So I mean, a little bit of that even ended up on the final product.
Yeah, let me get a little nerdy with you guys. I got Kelsowitz on the show with me, and Kelsowitz likes to nerd it out a bit. Let me see if I can find one of these. I'm looking for a military. Yeah, here we go. A military Explorer. Okay, not really common. Not a lot of people know that there was an actual military Explorer. But this was a 6150, made in 1953, that was made for the military. Again, 369. You can see the little T. Precision T is obviously you see on many of the military models on it, but just a military issued, and this was issued for the Hydrographic Service. I don't really know what that is, but it is the Explorer 6150 military issue, which, we all know about mil subs, but military Explorers are not as commonly known, I would say. So,
yeah, I've never heard of this. That looks amazing.
And I'm going to show you. Sorry, Ray, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's funny because you never hear the Explorer referenced as a field watch, but I suppose it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can find. Now, hopefully, Sturdy Danny's listening here, because this one's a bit of a gem. It's not that easy to find. I gotta see if I can get the right photo because there's a few of these. It's a 6538. Let me go to images and see if I can find the right one. They're not the easiest to find. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is a 6538 in the military model. So they actually did make a mil sub out of the 65. That's known as the Dr. No for everybody that is a Bond fan or that likes Bond. I just gotta find a good photo of this because it's very, very rare, and it actually looks like an Explorer. I'll pull up one that's an actual Submariner that looks like an Explorer, as Roy was discussing, because that's probably the most common right here. So this is a 6538. I don't think this is a military version, but as Roy discussed, you do have the Mercedes hands and you have the 369 from the Explorer. So a very rare model of the Submariner that's called the Explorer dial. One of my favorites. This is my favorite Submariner. Is a 6538.
Fuck, that bezel
That
looks
is an
brand
awesome-
new compared to the dial, doesn't it? If someone showed me that on the street, I'd kind of sus. I'd be thinking that was fake.
Yeah, man, it's wild. Like I just trying to see if I can find an actual. Oh yeah, here we go. I think this is it, Roy. I think I found it. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is it. This is one of the 6538s. No bezel, and 369. And there's models that actually say, like, I think it actually says Explorer on them. But yeah, it's a pretty.
Look at the size of the crown on that.
Yeah, the big crown, the 6538.
Oh, so that's the one Bond wore?
Yeah, he wore this. He didn't have the Explorer dial on his, but he definitely wore that. Now I'm going to show you the actual military version. I found it here on the Bottoms article. Again, these are super rare, super hard to find. That's why it's being a bit of a bitch for me to find it. But you can see here, it's a 6538. This is a Submariner, as you see here, Burford Submariner 65. Burford is the one I think that made the dial. Yeah, Burford dial, and I'll show you what it looks like, because this doesn't look like a Submariner to me, guys. Like, this looks more like an Explorer. And again, you see big crown, no diving bezel. You see 369. The T, obviously, you can tell it's a military model, but you do have Submariner written down at the bottom. So, this evolution of the Explorer, this evolution of the Explorer to the Sub is very apparent in a lot of these early models that you just don't see out there.
Well, and it makes sense, because, I mean, you think back to the original, Panerai rated mirrors and Luminors. Those didn't have rotating bezels, yet those were the Italian dive watches. So, it makes sense that there'd be these transitional pieces.
Right, I'll tell you something funny. When I first bought my 1680 Red Sub Mark IV, the bezel rotated both ways, and I was freaked out. I was like, "What the fuck? Like, why is it rotating?" But because they didn't actually change to a unidirectional bezel for a while. And those early 60s subs, they were bidirectional, so very, very.
Yeah, so obviously these are model specific, but what kind of money are we talking for these early Explorers? Like, what's the range?
Doesn't even say how much this went for, so I really don't know. But 6538s are like one of the most expensive of vintage subs. So because of the connection to Dr. No and Bond and all this other shit. The 65. Now, I always told Danny, I said, if you want one of these watches, buy a 6536. I'll show you a 6536. That's the small crown version. You get a very similar look to the 6538, but if you can live with the small crown, it's a lot cheaper than the 6538s. 6538s are over 100 grand. Like these one, I think these you can find them 30K, 40K, something like that, just in the small crown version. So I think these are a good bargain if you want to buy a 4-digit early Submariner. We do have a question for you in the chat here, Kelso. It's from Apes. He's asking, Kelso, do you regret selling the 5212? I think it's an underrated watch.
It is an underrated watch. I miss that watch. I wouldn't say I regret selling it because I traded it for the 5320, but I do miss it. I love that piece. I'd love to still have it, but had to cough up the trade in for the Grand Comp.
Did you hear about Big Sal?
He got one.
Yeah, he messaged me right before he was buying it. He was like, "Tan, do you have any regrets?" And I said, "Nah, man. I'm like, man, Kelsowitz's asked me the same thing. I'm like, fucking pull the trigger, bro."
Yeah.
And
I'm so happy for him, man. He's a hell of a collector. I'm glad he came home. He came home.
Yeah, look, I'm happy that people are appreciating that watch because Tim Moss, one of his favorite, if not, I think his most favorite modern Patek Philippe is that one.
What is the model on that? The 5212. What kind of watch is it? I'm not familiar.
That's the weekly calendar.
Okay, gotcha.
A watch that Kelsowitz owned, I own. It's a cool watch, Roy.
It's funny. I was talking about that. I referenced it yesterday, but I just don't know. I just don't know the number on that one. It's talking about like hyped Calatravas. So.
Yeah, my super chat, Kelso, I don't know if you were watching at the time, was and Roy was on the panel at the time. It was Archie, give me 3 hype dress watches, and Roy got the first one, the easiest one right off the bat, which was the Chronomètre Bleu. And Roy said the 5212. He said that watch was hyped for a while and was selling over retail for a while, right?
Yeah, it was.
Before it went down. Obviously, steel piece and everything else. Yeah, Gildan, 6538s can be all over the map. 500K, 300K, 200K. It really depends on condition. Depends on a lot of things when it comes to vintage. But
right people at the auction.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Like I don't. Auction prices can be really confusing like that because they may not really be an indicator of the market. It could be the indicator of that room. And there's 2, big swinging dicks that just want to, outbid each other, right? Doesn't mean it's necessarily what the market would pay for those watches. Wristwatchaholic is saying, "Hey, Paul,
bro, Wristwatchaholic just came down with some heavy pieces. Did you see what he got?
No, I didn't. Want you to let me know."
Oh, dude, he's gone heavy with the Pateks. He actually just got the 5212.
Oh, beautiful.
And he got the 6119R.
Amazing. Let me pull these up here for our friend Wristwatchaholic here. So I'm gonna go to the Patek Philippe. Let's start with a line that is near and dear to my heart, the Calatrava line. Interesting thing about this line too. The name Calatrava, like we call the reference 96 a Calatrava and all these older models. They actually weren't. The name Calatrava didn't come out till I think the 80s, where these watches were actually called the Calatrava. Prior to that, it was just reference numbers, reference 96. That was really how Patek Philippe identified what they called a Grand Classique, was the 96. They had like different number references of the 96 all the way up until the modern 5196. But you said you got an R, so that is a rose gold 6119. Roy, what do you think of this watch? I think you've talked about it before.
I like it a lot. I mean, it's just classic Patek right there. So, it's got the hobnail. I love the dark type indices, the Dauphine hands. Like when you roll that thing through light, it's really pretty.
That's the thing, right? It's timeless. That thing will never go out of style. And I love how on this new movement they filled out the case back. There's very little room on the edge there.
An acquired taste fills us in here. So that's actually the ancestor of this watch, the 3919. Which became the 5119, basically the hobnail or Clou de Paris bezel Calatravas that a lot of folks consider classic or in their mind is the the iconic Calatrava with the hobnail bezel. Yeah. Kelsey, as a younger guy, like what do you feel? How do you feel about the hobnail? Is it refreshing? Do you feel it's a bit old manish? You tell the way at least in reference to the 6119.
Yeah, a little bit in that sense, but that's the tradition, I mean, I'll be honest, that's personally one of the reasons that's kept me away from this piece, just because as much as I love it, I feel like you kind of have to dress up for this. It's kind of hard to pull off in a t-shirt and shorts, but that doesn't take anything away from it. There's a watch for every occasion. I just find the versatility might not be as good as some others, personally, like the 5212, like we were talking. But I don't know. That's one of the things that makes this special. Not a lot of companies are doing it. And if anyone is to do it, Patek is, it's their thing,
The most prominent person I could think of that wore any kind of hobnail bezel Patek would be HW. He had the perpetual with the hobnail bezel.
Right.
Yeah, the hobnail bezel. I mean, even Putin actually, surprisingly enough, has a hobnail bezel perpetual calendar, and it's just wild because it is considered the classic look. But when Thierry Stern was developing, I'm going to show you guys the 5227. Prior to the Cubitus, he actually developed other watches or came up with other watches, and this is one of them, 5227, and he referenced the 3919 as a watch that is not for the contemporary young man. And he felt that, when he designed this watch, the 5227, which is an evolution of the 5107 and the 5127, he made this kind of scalloped, I'll show us a few more photos here, scalloped, you can see here the scalloped lugs, which he felt was pretty was pretty nice, and the officer's case back on this watch. He felt this was a bit more contemporary for the younger man that wanted to buy into the brand and whatnot, which is a complete departure from the 6119 or even the Clou de Paris that he used in reference to this 3919, which is the OG version. But look, my opinion, guys, I'm a big fan of the reference 96, which does not have the hobnail bezel, has a smooth bezel. I've been kind of holding out for that watch as opposed to buying the 6119. If there's no hope of a 96 coming out, like I would buy a 6119 because I think it really put the package very well together. I think the dial is beautiful, Dauphine hands. I think the movement, they made the movement the right size for the case, as opposed to the 5196, which is a very, very small 215 movement.
That's the thing. I think with that new movement, they've got to come out with new models, right? I feel like they've got to spread the love with that. Even the weekly, I'm expecting to see some sort of branching out with other models with that movement.
Yeah, I mean the weekly was the and I'll pull the weekly here because I think that was the other watch that you said.
Because I think this 619, that's the only model using that movement, right?
In that one, I believe for now. But I mean, a 96 could come out that could be using
right.
Now this watch. So this I believe is the other one that Wristwatcholic bought, the 5212.
Yes.
This was the first, the 26 330 movement, which is an evolution of the 324 and the 315. This was the actual first iteration of that movement in a watch. Was this one? Was the 5212? That is when the 26 330 actually debuted. So, and now that movement's in other watches, other big rotor, watches from Patek Philippe. But the special part of this watch is obviously the writing, the script that's supposed to mimic handwriting. Thierry Stern said it reminded him of a school calendar, and that's why he kept it when the original designer had presented it to him. He mentioned that about 50% of the room hated it and 50% liked it. And Thierry Stern just ran with it. He's like, well, fuck it, right? Like, I'm just gonna go and see where this goes. I don't know, Kelso, have you come across that commentary from people? Because I have, where some people absolutely hate the font. They're just like, oh, it looks like, comic whatever font,
right.
and they can't stand it because they feel cartoonish. On the other side, other people are like, man, it feels vintage. It feels like, a lot different than what the brand would do. Like, what have you heard from people that saw that watch of yours?
I think, just like you said, it's not for everyone, it's definitely a niche piece, but I get, there is a lot going on the dial, but, the 5 stacked hands, there's just a lot happening. It's cool, it's just cool. Steel piece. The dial never, the font never bugged me. I think that makes it cooler. If they went more traditional, I don't know. I don't know if it would be as special.
Well, they did a special edition for an AD in Austria, I believe, and the font is completely different on it.
The purple one?
That's right. Yeah.
See, I don't remember. I remember it purple. I don't remember them changing the font.
Yeah, no, the font was different. Let me see if I can find it. 5212. I'll just type Austria, I think. Yeah, here we go. Luxury Bazaar has it up.
Because I mean, if they did another weekly, I don't see them doing this handwritten shit again. They're I mean.
Yeah, I have it here. Let me pull it up. So you can see here on the screen that the font is actually different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's not as cool, right? I don't think it's as cool without the kind of handwritten.
I don't
font.
know. I like the other one.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Roy, what about you? Are you a big fan of the handwritten font, or do you think it's cheesy and you would prefer just more normal font like this? Whereas on mute, maybe he's away, but we can move on. Acquired Taste says, I love the 5119 because of the hobnail, the 36 size. So they did increase because I believe the 3919 was like a 33. So they increased the size to 36 in the 5119, and you get a see-through case back. I think you're getting a lot more. Look, it's really because honestly, Kelso, when that 39, I asked Higgins this because Higgins was selling these watches in the 80s, and I said, how, and I'll pull up a 3919 for everybody to see here to know what we're talking about. But this was he told me that this was like it was super popular. People were, if you were in for a Patek Philippe and you were buying one, these were about, want to say about 8,000, 9,000 US dollars at the time. And if you think about it, there was no annual calendar, Kelso. There was only a perpetual. So your bump was going from 8 or 9,000 from the 3919 to 45,000 for the 3940. So and I asked this to Higgins. I said, Higgins, like, was there a different buyer? Like, who bought? Like, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. He said, the guy who walked in and bought that $9,000 3919, while very popular, he's like, think like, he's think executive, think maybe, high level middle manager.
W2.
Yeah. He was like, when you're seeing someone come in for the 3940, he's like, that's Titan of industry. That's head of the company, CEO, completely different individual. But the 3919 was an extremely popular watch back in the 80s.
Well, I think the other thing to mention too is that a lot of these complications and stuff, they were hard to move at the time. It was a different place for the industry. So there was certainly a lot of motivation to come up with something in between.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point about even the history of Patek Philippe, because really the complication side of Patek Philippe, because when they describe themselves as a brand, they describe themselves as a complicated dress watch brand, and that mostly came under the when Philippe Stern was running the company. That's when they really ramped up the interest in producing complications and how they differentiated themselves as a business. Because prior to that, Roy and Kelso, like, yes, they made complications, often either ad hoc, or in very, very small productions, serial productions. You're thinking like the 1518, 1526, that's the early perpetual calendar chronograph. It really wasn't until Philippe Stern came into the company, took over, that they really ramped up that lean in towards complications.
Yeah, they didn't even make many chronographs. I mean, think about, the relative value of, a chronograph that's pre-war versus just, a Calatrava 96 or something.
Yeah, it's just interesting that I find, that they would go and they would lean in on, because then you think of the brand, that's what's defined by today is that just complications and whatnot. They really touted a lot of it. We have it in the 5212 and many other watches that are out there, but it wasn't always so. And yeah, it's just a lot of people don't know that prior to that, the brand was more about ultra luxury. It was it was always like this really high end brand, but it wasn't like, oh, well, we do complications, that's our thing. It wasn't just about that back in the day. Gary says the Platinum Big G, still don't get why anyone cares what week of the year it is. Yeah, this was one that a lot of people didn't get. Kelso was like, why do you care what week of the year it is? Especially in the United States or in Canada, we don't really use weeklies or weeks. Some professions do, I think, but not all professions. I don't know about your profession, maybe, Kelso, if you guys do it by week of the year.
No, not at all. The only one I've heard of is like construction, some sort of like accounting firms that do it. But yeah, it is bullshit. You don't need to know the fucking week of the year. You could easily Google this shit. It's just cool that a mechanical device can do it, And there is something cool about it only makes one revolution a year. So just, flashing down, looking at it, you could see, oh, we're halfway through the year. We're a third through the, whatever. I know it's kind of stupid, but it's, there's something that's kind of poetic about it. And what's cool about the 5212 specifically, they show that 53 weeks, because every like fifth or sixth year there's a 53rd week, where on the AP perpetual, they only reflect 52.
That's absolutely right. But it's not just the weekly calendar, right? There's other calendar functions on this. You have, day of the week, you have the month, you have the date, right? You have a lot of different.
That's one thing too. I remember reading in the manual, it said something like, the month is sometimes not exactly correct, because it's just showing you the week. So sometimes, like at the end of the month, it could be showing October when it's actually November.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very unique complication, I would say, from the brand. It's not unique to the brand, but unique within the brand. They don't really produce this complication. I don't remember a time where they have produced it prior to this. Just a cool piece. It's a fun piece. It's light on the wrist. When Kelso was asking me about this watch, I said, Kelso, look, like the kind of work you do, being on set and stuff like that, a steel watch would be great. It's light on the wrist. You know, if you don't mind the leather and you change the strap to something else, like I always thought it was a great work watch for me, Kelso. I don't know if you disagreed.
No, 100%. Especially with the steel, it makes it really, you know, less fragile.
Do you find that you're more comfortable at work even with a steel Patek? Because obviously it's still quite delicate,
well,
you know?
Not in that sense. I mean, to be honest, I still wear the gold one. Like, I'm pretty careful with it.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's, you know, God forbid you were to bump into something, the steel would probably do better. But I really don't have that many times where it's getting roughed up. You know, if people say,
no,
it's
I agree
fragile,
with
but
you
I don't really,
100%.
like,
So.
I'm not really doing anything to, you know, I'm not a mechanic or anything where it's going under that much. Dude, here, I'm the type of person where if the road is bumpy, I'm driving with my right hand. Like, I'm not even putting the Patek on the fucking steering wheel.
You won't roll the shopping cart across the rubble strip.
I'm
with the
one hand in the fucking shopping cart. Like, I'm that type of person where if I don't have to put the stress on it, I choose not to. So I don't. But there's some people, you know, they put the watch on, they forget they're wearing it, they start doing all sorts of shit. So in that case, maybe the Patek, or, you know, maybe go with the steel one. Just wear the fucking Rolex if you're that kind of person, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even then, man, you see people who don't want to take their Rolexes in water. Like, I think even with Rolex, people say, "Oh, just you would wear a Rolex," but like half these guys wouldn't fucking wear their Rolex. In that,
I mean, I wear my watch all over the place and all of the time, and I wear my gold ones the same way I wear my steel ones. But I will say, with the gold, for whatever reason, there's always just a little something in the back of the mind.
We got a comment here from Surdy Danny. He says, Kelso, he did go no-ended. He got the Tesla. That was an excellent story, by the way, yesterday. We got a question from Acquired Taste. Thoughts on the Patek 5034 travel time? I have it up on the screen here, guys, for you guys to see. Why don't you let Acquired Taste know what you guys think right off the bat from just looking at the piece. Travel time piece.
Wow. Go ahead, Ray. My first thing is, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know why. Like, I like the way Patek has done their travel time complications with the hidden hands on some of the more sporting pieces recently, but their traditionally styled travel time watches are just a miss for me in their aesthetics. They're just not for me.
It's definitely, you know, I think the bezel is making it, you know, a bit conservative for some people. There is another version or similar version. It's the 5134 travel time. I'll show you guys that one, and you may prefer that one. There's a punter in our chat that has it, Der Stiefel. He just recently bought a 5134. So I have on the screen the 5034. This is the 5134 here, travel time. So a bit different, but similar enough, you could say, between it. So
Looks like an Explorer.
Yeah, 3.9, right?
Arabic got a lot of bezel on it, huh?
Yeah, look, and it's also from the Crown Guard era of Patek Philippe, which is a very interesting era because, you know, I mean, Archie's current world time, the 5130, has Crown Guards. His old 5107 at Crown Guards, his 5127 at Crown Guards. It's an era of, like, I think, the 90s to like mid 2000s or something like that, where they had Crown Guards on their watches, on dress watches, which is, I mean, do you really need Crown Guards on dress
just
watches?
looking at this, I would like to see them go back to some sort of pusher system like this. You know, they've been a big fan of using the push tool, you know, with the hidden button, but you know, FP Journe doesn't do that on any watches that he makes. He doesn't believe in having to use a tool. You should be able to control all the functions just with your hands. I'd like to see them bring some of that, you know, back into the mix.
With what you're saying there with the pushers, I think, you know, it works really well on that one because of the Crown Guards. It sort of balances out the case. How would that look without it? That's where it starts to be a bit, you know.
There's ways of, like, you know, even with their minute repeaters, they have a way of, like, making it kind of seamless, you know. Obviously, it's more expensive, but
yeah, for sure.
I think when you talk about minute repeaters, Patek Philippe is very, very anal about the sound. You know, apparently rose gold is considered the best metal for minute repeaters. They're considered some of the best sounding minute repeaters out there, but that may affect the Kelsowitzes of why they don't do certain things. Is, like, for example, those watches are completely they're not waterproof at all. They're not water resistant at all. They're dust proof and moisture proof. You can't wash your hands with that fucking. I would not wash my hands with minute repeater from
Right.
Patek Philippe, but it's all about the sound. That they will compromise everything for that sound, including the water resistance. All right, we got a super chat from Marco131, €2.50. Thoughts on the 5524? You will know this watch, boys and girls. 5524.
Is that the travel time?
It is the pilot travel time. That's right. I'll pull it up on the screen here for you guys. Pilot travel time 5524. All right, Kelsowitz, why don't you give us your initial
Man,
thoughts?
this never caught momentum. Well, what's hidden here are the fucking giant fucking Shrek buttons on the left of the case. That was kind of an aesthetic miss for me. I mean, personally, I kind of like the look, you know. I like the Field Watch vibe. It is kind of a big piece to pull off for some people, but man, this never caught on. I feel like just because a lot of people saw this and they see Zenith or they don't see Patek, you know. They don't really have the Pilot Watch or Field Watch history, but I still like it. I personally, I would probably go for other choices at that price point, but I got nothing against this. I think it's quite cool. I think it's out of all the travel times we looked at, obviously I like this one better.
I'm gonna see if I can dig up that photo of an old reference 96.
It reminds me of Archie's JLC with the horns.
Here you go. So whenever everyone talks about, oh, it looks like a Zenith, or it looks like this, or it looks like that, I try to remind people that these are based off of historic Patek models. This is a reference 96 with that same configuration, more similar to the 55.
No shit. See, I've never seen that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. They abandoned this blocky font and that type of hands for so many decades. Regardless of if it's in the museum somewhere, you just don't associate that with Patek anymore. And I do think like those kind of really 1920s blocky fonts, even in collections today, I think, given relative popularity, I don't think the market likes it.
No, I mean, and again, it's kind of what Kelsowitz said, right? It's more newer collectors that are looking at it and seeing something they saw recently and say, oh, it looks like that, and completely ignoring the fact that this other watch I showed you is probably from like the 40s, and is where they actually got inspiration for these watches, the 5524 as well as the 5522. But also, like, some people love this watch, Kelsowitz. I know Goldberg, this is, I think, one of his more favorite, or maybe his favorite Patek Philippe is this configuration. He likes it's a lot more sporty. For him, he doesn't like that kind of conservative, dressy, traditional, kind of look on his Calatrava. He prefers something a bit more sporty. So he also, by the way, likes the 5320 because it's more sporty. He's a big fan of that one. We got a member chat from Dodger, member for 13 months. Thank you, Dodger. Thanks for the watch talk, Tanner. Yeah, man. Look, there hasn't been a lot of watch talk, and we have one of my favorite guys who likes to do watch talk with me, Mike the Snake, joining us. How you doing, Mikey?
Hey, man.
Good. What up, Mike?
Good to see you. Good to talk to you, Chan.
Mikey, you're one of the guys who hates the Rolex Explorer, and you've said it on the streams. You hated the Rolex Explorer, and I know Bear hates it, and there's nothing wrong with hating it. But I was just fascinated by the fact that the Submariner evolved from the Explorer.
Yeah. Well, I don't really, I know I don't take things into consideration all of the time, and I don't know the history of things as well as like what evolved into what. My reasons for not liking the Polar Explorer is just they're petty. They're just stupid me reasons. They're not any reason that somebody shouldn't love it and go out and buy it. I mean, because they're awesome watches in their own rights.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with you saying you hate it, man. Like, watches. I always tell people it's no fucking rocket science here. Like,
it's just kind of like I like that one and I don't like that one, and I do like that one and I don't like that one. It's just like simply as simple as that. There's not much. There's not much thought past that regarding the subject. Somebody says, "Oh my God, you can't believe you don't like this or that," and it's just it's a knee-jerk decision that's made like from the heart, and usually and so Yeah, for some reason.
You know this better than anybody. You don't need to be a mechanic to appreciate a 930, right? Like,
plus, like the Black Bay 58. I hate the Black Bay 58. I hate it first of all because everybody fucking loves it, and secondly because it's got those fake rivets on the fucking
bracelet, yeah.
the bracelet, and I just think that's cheeseball, and it's a little bit too small. And they already have 3 other watches that fit its same bill. They could have upgraded those with a ceramic bezel and fucking nailed it out of the fucking park, like they basically kind of did with the Pelagos. But if they'd done that with their regular 58 in the 42 size, fuck, they would have been like competing with Rolex, like bam, right there. You know,
Mikey, it was an interesting watch when it came out, right? Like retro look. Most people at the time weren't really complaining about the size of the thickness, which became the ultimate complaint over the Black Bay. When it first came out, like the Smiley version, the Etta version, I thought was super cool. I bought the Black Dial Gilt version of it. I ended up selling, which I regret.
Black Bay. Are you talking about?
I'm talking about the
Deep Sea. The
Black Bay. Yeah, the Black Bay. I'll show you the one I'm talking about actually.
The Rolex Sea Dweller Deep Sea. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the Black Bay.
Okay.
I'll show you the Black Bay I'm talking about, Mike. It's this one here. It's the it's a standard 41 size, but this is what's called the Smiley version or the Etta version, where you got the little self-winding and Smiley.
This is like pre Submariner or something.
No, this was the first. I mean, this was the kind of you can call it the OG Black Bay of the reissues. The first one that came out when they kind of relaunched Tudor.
Oh, okay, okay. So this was kind of like their version of the sub kind of comparison wise when they came out, because I mean they were produced kind of as like I want to make something for the common man that the common man can afford, and so they utilized a lot of the Rolex leftovers, maybe, or just the Rolex parts, the case, the bracelet.
I think that was only back in the day. I don't think they're doing that on the
Mickey's
right.
right.
Oh no, not now. Of course not now. But way back when, like when this watch was made, I think they did. It's like basically a Rolly with an Edo movement in it, or something like that. Or Valju.
Well, these are like,
you got to go back like decades for that.
Yeah,
not these new production ones.
Yeah, I'll show you guys one a bit older in a second.
Oh yeah, for the new ones, no way. I mean, they're completely new.
By new, I mean by Tudor relaunch. So you're going back to the Tudor Submariner. You're going Black Bay if you're talking about that, Mike.
Oh, okay, yeah. As far as the Tudor goes, I mean, they have some models, some older models of their Black Bay, their standard Black Bay that's 42, that was powered by Etta movement, and it has the smiley.
Yeah, that's what this is.
The smiley face, lettering on the bottom, and their Pelagos was the same way, but then they did a collab with oh shit, what's the company that does the Bentley?
Breitling.
Breitling, yeah, they did a collab with Breitling on the movement, the movement, and so both the Tudors and the Breitlings used this new movement between them, I think, as far as the story goes, as much as I know. And they both used them, and I've owned the Pelagos, which had the new movement, and therefore it had the dictionary below the center point, but it wasn't that much of a detraction. And it was one of the best watches I could have ever dreamt of owning, and I'm probably going to buy another one. But if I had the chance to jump on a smiley face one, I would do it. But then again, it'd be like due for service, really.
Well, I know those ETAs. I mean, they would cost you like $50 to have it service.
Oh, they're cheap, man.
Sure.
Like, this is why I like ETA PAMs. I like Etta Tudors because it's just, Mikey. I've had 2 PAMs that have broke. Both Etta versions. And my watchmaker had it back to me from service in 2 weeks. He was
Tim.
Yeah.
My dad is PAM 48. He jackhammered in it, and he broke it twice with the jackhammer. The whole movement had to be replaced. So it was cheap. He just but forgot it was on his wrist again using the jackhammer because
Yeah.
his pebble cast penalty was so low. And yeah,
My shop jeweler that I frequent, friends friends of mine at this point, the watchmaker John is of the highest caliber. Like I would give him my tourbillon if I had one, without hesitation. And he's serviced my, like I bought so many Rolexes them. It's not even funny. And some of them were older and out of warranty, and so they gave a 1 year warranty. And even though it was a month after, they still, like, I had a problem with one where the rotor came loose, and it wasn't scraping or rubbing, but I could hear it when I jiggled the watch, so I just took it in, and they fixed it right up, even though it was out of warranty, and they really take care of you there. And it's good to have a personal relationship with your jeweler.
Jay Gray says here, so he has a Rolex case, crown, and bracelet on his mid-60s Tudor Oyster Prince. So, Mikey, you're absolutely right. Rolex, I mean, Tudor, the brand, was made, they were making watches at a lower price point than Rolex, getting, obviously a quality watch into the hands of probably call it the everyday man in that sense.
Well, he made a statement to that fact, like.
He did. Wilsdorf did. I think when I showed the, I'll pull this back up here.
and then those became the MOD watches, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true. When I showed this one, Mikey, this is a reissue. It did have an edit movement, so it was probably the most similar, in my opinion, guys, to what Jay Gray is describing is, some Rolex parts or an embossed movement in the watch. I mean, that's how Tudor did not use Rolex movements. Oftentimes they used an embossed movement. So when the Black Bay came out and it was using an embossed ETA movement, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was actually pretty honest to the previous Tudors that were out there. But as you see, obviously, the purpose of this mic, I think, was a bit more of giving the enthusiasts what they want, but not in the Rolex brand. So you could get this cool looking OG Submariner from the Black Bay in a really contemporary size 41 mils, and have really a modern watch, but still have kind of that old Tudor flavor. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, you look at that and you just go, that's a Tudor Submariner. It looks like a Tudor sub. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, Mike.
No, well, just to be clear, at that point in time, I mean, Egler was still a separate company. Was Egler, when did they start only making movements for Rolex and not doing anybody else? Do we know when that was?
I don't remember exactly when that was.
Because it was a long time where they still, even though they weren't part of Rolex, they only supplied them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, when I look, and Jay Gray is actually pretty observant here with the rose on the dial as opposed to the Tudor shield. Which is how they've changed it. So a different watch, Roy, definitely and this is my favorite version. I'm really sad.
How long did they make these for before they went to in-house and stuff?
It was a couple of years. It wasn't that long, actually. You had your three different colors. You had the blue bezel. You had the burgundy one that Archie loved, and this is the one, Mike, I bought. Was this version? Again, I'm pretty sad that I sold it. I should probably buy another one. They're not super expensive.
You know what looks just like this watch is the Seamaster 3. I think it's called the Seamaster Heritage.
I love those watches. Let me pull one for you here.
That's probably, it's a possibility it might be my buy. I'm trying. I got my heart set on a 41 sub and just one and done it for just stop collecting and move on with my other hobbies in life. But I need to have one good watch. And the sub is just, kind of it truly is the one if you're going to be a one watch guy, then the sub is it, just hands down. There's nothing that compares really. And so I got to get my hands back on one of those and then probably stop collecting for a while.
Nothing wrong with that, Mike, right? Like if you just love what you love, if sub is what you want, your heart's set on it.
The thing is, I love too many things, and they all cost money. And now I'm finding myself, kind of diving a little deeper into racing, and so I'm having to factor in the cost of tires and
I was about to say, you got to be able to buy tires.
Yeah, that's the most expensive part of it. Luckily, my tires will last a long time. I don't have slicks. I could have put slicks on it, but I chose not to. They put so much force on the car, they actually shit starts to break. Just
Maybe
from
on brakes and stuff too, not running them.
well, my car's already got wicked brakes, so I don't know. The brakes are a non-issue. But I did put big, meaty, huge tires, oversized tires in the back, which isn't the best thing for performance. But as a hot rodder, it just looks better with fatter rear tires, So I put these 275s on the rear, which is not, Tan runs 325s, 315s probably on his rears. So 275 is not horribly wide, but for a little dinky car, it really made it look tough, especially when the fronts are much smaller, so it has that raked, even though the wheel sizes are the same, it looks kind of raked, and it's just got that stance. It's really cool. Anyways,
what we got the 300 up for?
300 Heritage.
Yeah. Don't you see the similarities between that old sub and this watch?
I definitely dig this watch. This is one of my favorite Seamasters, Mike.
It is my any Seamaster that has that fucking conjoined twin appendage seat, like helium escape valve, that needn't be there. I just don't like any Seamasters with that on there. Like, just
I think the angle these ones are most distinctive of. Do you have a shot of it from the side? Because I think you could really see how they did a vintage case band on it, but people rarely show that.
And their bracelet is oyster-esque, and it just looks like a hell of a watch for like $5,000, or $7, probably $5 on the use. Yeah, man, that watch does.
Well, they also do a unique two-tone too in the previous version of it, where you can get it rose and titanium.
No, that's okay.
Mikey, why do you're not a two-tone guy? Two-tone's not your thing. Is that?
Yeah, I'm not too much.
This is what strikes me the most is that side shot when you see these in person, because it really brings out that vintage flair, I think.
I love that bracelet, man. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, just an overall cool watch, whether it's on a strap or you got obviously the multicolored lume, Mike, which is really nice. Yeah, just a cool watch. I've always liked these watches. I always thought that they were underrated. They're not really, not a lot of people talk about them. I think ID Guy has one of these. I think this was like one of his like bigger purchases of his YouTube career, was one of these 300 Heritages. That's a good choice, Mike. I think now you're not thinking of replacing the sub with this. You're thinking of still getting the sub, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, like I'm shuffling money aside to just get the sub and get that out of the way. Then once I've got it, it'll be my one and done wear, daily wear, and or when I'm working, I'll wear my Seikos. But otherwise, yeah, if I get the sub, I'll be happy to stop there if I wanted to, and just concentrate on other things for a while. But yeah, the sub is I gotta get one.
I want to go a bit deeper here in the sub with you, Mike, because I was listening to you on the show the other day, and you said that when you wore when you had your 41 mil sub, you said that they had perfected it. Compared to the 40. What did you maybe tell me a bit more about that? You've obviously tried the 40.
Well, I've owned a number of the 40s, and the problem is that they do I don't know what thickness they are, I don't care, but they're the arrangement of their lugs and their bottom cover is such that on certain people, when you take your hand and turn it up, the crown digs into the top of your hand. I've got a permanent little dimple right in the top of my hand right here. It'll never go away because of my subs that I wore. And I mean, it's noticeable. You can actually see it if you put me full screen, I think. See it right there? See that bump right there? That's a permanent crown mark from subs. And so what I discovered was the Sea Dweller, which is also 40, a dead ringer for a sub, had a more bulbous underside and lifted the watch up a bit higher, and I didn't have that issue. And so from that point on, I bought Sea Dwellers instead of subs. And,
I think this is one of the most important and least talked about dimensions within watch design. Is that relationship to case back and lugs, because it's not necessarily going to be a size issue that's going to cause you discomfort. But if it just is off with that ratio, it can be terribly uncomfortable with how it sits on your wrist.
And you can make a really, really large watch, fit a small wrist by just having really, really close lug to lug distance,
I'm talking specifically, though, about the height, like how far a case back protrudes down below the case band, the relationship, if you were to set it on the table, of the case back to where the ends of the lugs and stuff are.
On the same note, like I had a chance to put on my Demi-Grail, the Seamaster, or the Vacheron 4500 blue three-hander. That's kind of my grail. Yep. I had a chance to put that on with Toyota Mo. It's gracious enough to let me put it on. And unlike these other big hunkin' tool watches, that watch melted into my wrist to the point where I didn't know I had a watch on my wrist, so there's every shape and size watch underside, and you got to make sure you get one that works for you, because a lot of small watches have really far lug to lug distance, and so the bracelet comes straight down off of them, and you wonder why the watch bobbles around on your wrist and doesn't fit right. It's because it's really only a watch that'll work well with somebody with a much larger wrist.
Yeah, it fascinated me, Mike, because when you said, hey, I'm a buyer at like 9.5, and you're holding off because I think they're like hovering around 11, 12. I thought in my mind, I'm like, why would Mike not just get the 40? So that's why I was fascinated when you said that the 41, they perfected it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The pre ceramics had my personal issue with the dimple. But secondly, the 40s are flawless in design, with the exception of their clasps are kind of cheeseball. The later model ones, the newer ones, but they're still pre-sub. Their clasps had a little something to desire, but they were still wonderful watches and proportionally perfect. And then they diverted and went to the maxi case, which was just like Transformers, robots in disguise, big fucking chunky fucking monkey lugs. The transition from the lugs to the bracelet was really abrupt and large, and I just didn't like the maxi case design one bit. And then when they came out with the 41, because I have big wrists, 40 is kind of like my size limit. So it's I was happy to see that it was a little bit larger, but in getting it and putting it on my wrist, it's just such that it doesn't dig into my hand like the other subs did. And they fixed the transition from the lugs into the bracelet. They fare very nicely, and the bracelets and clasps on the newer subs are to die for. So yeah, the 41 is just like perfect in my book.
Sturdy Danny's saying, Mike the Snake, you should go for the SD43. It'll be so much better for you.
Well, yeah, possibly. I've heard that it's kind of dingle top heavy because of the thin bracelet and largish watch. I've owned a James Cameron, and I know the Sea Dweller line. I don't know if the 43 has the million-foot depth rating. I know the 44 and the James Cameron did, but yeah, I thought the James Cameron was going to be more of an investment piece. It was going to maybe just get discontinued kind of quickly, and it just didn't turn out to be as big of a hit as everybody freaked out over. And so I sold it when I sold that and my sub and everything else when I to get that Porsche that turned out to be kind of another learning experience. So now it's time to start over, start from scratch. looking for a sub.
I think you know what you want, right? Like you've had the time to, like you said, explore the deep sea dweller, other sea dwellers, other 40 mil subs, and you kind of came to the conclusion, Mike, that 41 is really the sweet spot for you, and that's why you're kind of that you've made your choice. That's the one you're going to get, and you may just move on from there, right? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I speak from somebody who's like owned all four, like, of the newer later models, so I can actually objectively make my opinion.
Danny follows up saying, "No, that's not true, Mike. It fits balanced, much different than the deep sea dweller on the Sea Dweller 43."
Oh, okay. See, that's thank you for correcting me. I don't know that much about the 43. I know it was only made for a year or so, and the deep sea was kind of going through a transitionary period where they made one year. I think they made a 40, right, and then they went to the 43, and then they went to the 44, and slash also the Cameron, and now I think they have a new one, an even newer one, same size and stuff. But
we have the gold deep sea, right? That just came out. But Mike, when you talked about investment, right? Like naturally, the deep sea dweller, its size was always, would make it prohibitive for a lot of guys. It's just too big. It's a cool dial, though. I love the James Cameron dial. I think it's
I loved mine to death. I loved it.
But I think that's always what's kind of kept it. I mean, the Sea Dweller's always been very niche. It's not been a popular lineup. Production numbers are very low. If you buy that book, the Submariner book by Nick Folks, there's low production numbers in the Sea Dwellers. When you mentioned the watch that was made for a year, I believe that's the SD4K. What Danny is talking about is the SD43. It's the new version with the Cyclops and the red text in Sea Dwellers.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah.
I think Danny and everybody else are just trying to find a watch, because obviously you have a big wrist and you prefer big watches. But look, I mean, you've owned the 41, right, Mike? So you kind of know what you want, and you know what you like, and you said the 41 is just perfect for you.
Yeah, the 41 just fixed everything I like. If you said take the 40 of the maxi case and here you go, what would you change? What would you make better about it? Rolex did it and popped out the 41 millimeter. Basically, they fixed the transition from the lugs, so it's nice and graceful. The clasp is highly improved over the old clasp, and on top of that, it just fit perfectly on my wrist. Where, like I said, the older subs at least dug a crown hole in my wrist, but and the 41 didn't, and tended to kind of stay rotated in the right position on my wrist, kind of naturally.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, guess what I'm wearing today?
Reggae. The Pam.
I went yesterday, and I got it out tan for you.
Oh, the big fucker. Show me the big
now,
fucker.
It's not, according to my sister, yours is better than mine, but what would fucking she know about watches?
Oh, you were so mad that day. I could see the jealousy.
I mean, fuck me dead. You know mine is bigger than yours, fuckface. Mine is bigger than yours. 1 mil bigger.
1 mil bigger, yes. No problem. Archie, we were talking about crown guards, actually. Can you show us the crown guards on the 5130?
That's crown guards. Look, you got to look at this. This is crown guards, don't you think?
Yeah.
That is like one of the most beautiful application of crown guards that I've seen.
I love it, man. That's such a cool watch. When you said you want to get rid of that, I was like, Archie, this was your Grail watch. Like, how are you going to get rid of your Grail? Like, you just can't. Unless you're going to go 5110 and go back, but I don't think you are, so.
What is that 40 millimeters or less?
Like 39.5. It's pretty much 40.
Patek.
Yeah.
Baby, Patek.
Fucking A, man. That's a keeper.
Archie, we've been talking about the evolution of the Submariner from the Explorer. I showed the boys here an early 6538 Submariner. This is a sub, Archie. No diving bezel. It's a military sub. You see the little T here with a circle, 369 Explorer dial. But in this photo, it really shows kind of that evolution of what the Explorer was, and they were testing the Explorer as their diving watch into when it became the Submariner with the timing bezel and everything else. But Archie, on the screen, we got a 653. This is a Submariner, but it looks more like an Explorer. It doesn't really look like a subby to me.
I love it. It's a sub with the bezels come off. It's fallen off.
It's fallen off, but it's an Explorer, Archie. And I was talking to Mike about this. Mike hates the Explorer, by the way. He says it's not his watch. Bear obviously is bored with the Explorer, but you saw what I said yesterday. I said there would be no Submariner if there wasn't an Explorer. So
yeah, which is you learn something new every day. I had no idea.
Goldberg is here, Archie. I got to run. I'm going to pass the baton to Mr. Goldberg. I'm going to see you guys in the chat. Thank you for having me, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.
Right on, Tan. See you, Tan.
Don't leave me.
Greetings, Marcus.
Gentlemen, this means that
hey, man,
we are now nannying Archie. Tan has left the building, unfortunately, and this means we're the adults in the room. Right, Arch?
Hey, how is my favorite dog trainer? That's what I want to know. You are the greatest. There are dog trainers, and there are good dog trainers, but there is only one greatest dog trainer.
Don't forget Puppies to Last, the book that I'm currently writing as a published author. But, we're both authors here.
Yes.
Luxury too.
You are the greatest there is.
Well, I'm right behind you. I believe that Luxury to Last has made the Amazon bestsellers list among the horologically inclined. Guys, it's on Amazon right now. Just type in Luxury to Last on Amazon and get your copy. It's in print. It's available now. Truly, it really is. So where are we? What's happening? What are we doing?
Hey, we're here for you. That's what we're saying.
Welcome to your show.
Yep.
Give us the goss, Paul. What's the latest?
Kesler, you're bothering him. Let's take a close look at the man, the myth, the legend, as he fights for focus. He's planning the content for today, 2 hours worth of fun-filled, action-packed.
I thought you were going to say as he fights the spring bar.
Oh, you should have told me it was a spring bar. I would have tuned in.
I don't think it is, but
He does have that same look on his face. The difference is, Roy, he's not cursing, and that's how you know if it's a spring bar. He's cussing.
I'm taking a
That's
photo
true.
of you.
Very true.
I love you boys. You know that? You guys are the greatest guys I could ever want in my life. You know that?
Oh, shucks.
Now,
thanks, Archie.
Archie bought a bear in China, a cute little dragon bear in China.
Hey, I've got that video, by the way.
You know what, guys? Eventually, Archie will play this video whenever he wants, and it will be your first actual thorough look. Not only are we unboxing the bear that Archie sent, but we are unboxing Satan's kitten, and you will have your first close-up and personal view of my boyfriend, the love of my life. And we had to figure out this bear. Tell me, Archie, before I don't want to do the reveal, let the video speak for itself, but when you bought that thing, did you know it had a special trick?
I do tricks. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you're a tricky fellow, aren't you? You know what tricks mean in the gay world? That means you hook up.
Hey, I do tricks all the time. Do you like tricks?
Yes, you make you do the disappearing act, and you're doing it now. Here, let's have a look.
Tricks are for kids.
Exactly. Let's look at Archie doing the disappearing act right now.
You know, I got to tell you something.
Did you hear the question?
I do tricks. I can perform tricks.
Did you hear the question?
I can do tricks. You know that? I do tricks. Yes, you know what? That just what I loved about that video. Let me just tell you what I loved about it. I love the sincerity. Like when we did the unboxing, he was really, really excited.
He's excited.
And you know, he's just a guy. He's just a guy who loves his presents. He loves his treats.
He loves his toys. He does. Now you know why I didn't want you to get anything for me, but for him, because he's like a little child on Christmas when he gets a box of like anything.
Yeah, no, he loved it. Yesterday was my wedding anniversary. That's why I'm wearing the Patek, because I went out, and that's my. Do you ever wear? I want to ask you something, guys, on the panel. Do you ever wear a special watch when you have like I suppose Keslo, you'd be going to an award ceremony, the Grammys, or you know things like that. Do you wear a special watch? Roy, what about you? Do you go there when you buy a new building or you evict your tenants? What do you get joy out of?
What do you wear to an eviction? I would like to know.
Yeah, no, that's it. But I mean, if I'm going to an awards ceremony or something, you know, like that, I'll grab something that's more dressy.
Most evictions in 1 year goes to
Real
Roy.
Talk. Most profitable.
How about the most evictions in a single 6-week period? And if you win that prize, what watch are you going to wear?
You got to wear the day-day.
Yeah, right, the landlord watch. 100%. It's the landlord watch.
Yeah, it is.
Got to go with the heavy hitters.
Right? Something loud, something gold, something that
What
says...
about you, Kessler? What do you wear to an award ceremony?
Man, I only have one good watch. I'm going perpetual, baby.
I have a question. What
about you, Marky? You would wear the gold sub.
Wait, what do you call the? I'm a little busy right here right now. Okay. What do you want to? What are you trying to tell me? It's a movie. It's now. What?
It's at 7
Tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Fine. We can go. We're sorry. The boyfriend.
Oh, any of you guys Percy Faith fans? Do we have any Percy Faith fans in the audience?
I don't know, but the boyfriend had to interrupt this live stream in order to tell me that I'm going to the movies tonight.
The boyfriend, he knows Percy Faith.
No, he's shaking his head. He does not.
A Summer Place. Summer Place. You know that great song? A Summer Place.
Nope, don't know that song. Some Summer Place. Summertime.
A Summer Place. You don't know A Summer Place?
I don't know A Summer Place.
No. Come on.
I've never heard of this either.
I'm not that gay, maybe. I'm not gay enough.
Pretty gay, and I don't.
It's true. Saint Kitten is extremely gay. He's gay enough for me. You know, he's gay enough that I don't even have to be gay. He's that kind of gay, and he doesn't know either. But you know, there is some chance that Archie is mispronouncing it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. What would I wear? Depends on the event. Give me an event, and I'll tell you what I'm gonna wear. Slurp.
Dog Trainer of the Year award. Gold sub.
Gold sub, of course. Gold sub. Get out of my way. You're not the dog trainer of the year. I am. Move. Gold sub.
Would you have a standoff with Caesar Milan? I got a gold sub. Oh, I got a platinum one. They don't make it in platinum, fuckface.
Yeah, no, I would not try and have a standoff. I'm not into the big dick contest, especially when I'm dealing with a deca millionaire like Caesar, who I like. I mean,
he's a deca millionaire. How did you know that?
Well, he's a public figure. It's easy to know that. Anyway, I've met him multiple times and I like him, and I'm not playing big dick contest with people who are far wealthier than me. But there we have. But you know what?
The thing is, he might be wealthier than you, but he's not better than you. Can I say that to you?
I'm very good at what I do, and I'm very happy with my role in the dog.
You're not very good. You are the best. You're not very good.
Speaking of the best,
are the best. We got a super chat! Patek Philippe, $5. Yo, big boy, I'm waiting on some dinner here. Can you pull up the Omega World Timers on monochrome? Tell me what you think about wearing that Patek Philippe.
Be right back.
And I often, Kessler, you know, when I refer to my Patek, I call it a 5130. Oh, I'm wearing a I just dropped Patek. I'm wearing a 5130. You know what I'm saying or not?
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Let's pull up monochrome here.
That is the grail. That is the one to have. You know, I would love a perpetual, but it's a lot of money. Fuck. It's a lot of money. Aren't they? Perpetuals, dear. They're fucking gut-wrenchingly expensive. Do you understand or not?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. That's part of what makes it special. It's hard to get.
You could get a deal on like a 3940 or something for not like crazy money. Certainly not cheap.
Let's pull this
I
up
guess
for him here.
there's not much of a gray market for those either. So, you know, you pay what you pay, and you know, probably
Patek and pussy. What's the pussy? I like the pussy and the Pateks. You know that? Patek and pussy. We got a super chat. Oh, we want to call up the monochrome.
Reggae and boobs.
So the problem, I got to tell you, the one problem with the Omega that really pisses me off. I'll tell you what's wrong with the Omega is that it doesn't change the center country. Like in my case, I've got Sydney at the top, right? The Omega is fixed to Auckland. Who the fuck wants Auckland at the top? I mean, fuck. It's a hope, you know, Auckland. Who the fuck goes? I mean, Auckland is fucking.
All right, this is what he's referring to. Here's the all-new Seamaster Planet Ocean World Time Collection.
Auckland is New Zealand. It's close to you.
Look, this is a new release. Have you seen this?
Your country of reference in the middle.
It's interesting. I didn't know they did this.
And it doesn't rotate. It doesn't rotate. It's fixed. Okay. So I mean, why wouldn't they have, you know, Greenwich Mean Time as your 12 o'clock reference? You know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the look of the watch? This new piece here.
It's fucking beautiful. I love it. I love it. But I'm just telling you, it's flawed. You understand, don't you? It's not in the league of a Patek. You understand?
But it's a fifth of the price, or you know, it's the price point.
What I'm trying to tell you is, Kessler.
Of course,
they're not in the club. We wouldn't invite them to the FP Jean dealer, would we? Hey.
But Patek's never gonna make something like this. I mean, look at how you know, this is modern. This is this is avant-garde.
You know, Terry Stern doesn't understand the word affordable. Affordable to him. Affordable is under $250,000. You understand? Affordable to them.
I know. Wow, look at that. $14,800.
Omega has gone stupid on the pricing. Omega's gone nuts.
45 mil. That's a big boy.
Yeah, well, they still haven't. I was about to ask that. And they haven't fixed their thicknesses either. Their watches are still too damn thick.
Mm-hmm. Laser ablated diving scale. Yeah, that bezel looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It's got the asphalt texture.
I don't like it one bit. But I don't like black watches, so. But I don't like the color. I don't like the mint color. And it's got that conjoined twin on the other side, the useless knob on the other side.
Hey,
no.
can we leave Archie out of this, Mike?
Everybody knows I already don't like the Seamasters. I like the Seamaster 300 Heritage. I love that watch. It may be my next purchase, but this Seamaster and the regular Seamaster with the scallop bezel, you know, I just I don't like those watches. I don't like for a number of other reasons. But
all right, we got $2 here. 10% Rolex. Did you read this one?
10% Rolex. I love Rolex. I got a.
You know
I don't
what?
this is. I just found a crustacean. Can I show you something? I found a crustacean in my bag here. I don't know whether to eat it. Is it a claw from a cockroach? A rodent?
Ooh.
Do I eat it or throw it out?
Ooh.
That's a tarantula tooth.
Okay, I ate it. It was beef. Okay.
Beetroot.
Beef.
Reef and beef.
Okay.
All right, he's got a question for you. $2.
Kessler, he's very busy. Stop interrupting him. For
$2 Lux. Let's go for it. $2 Lux. 10% Rolex, $2. Archie, what's in your collection these days? Oh, fuck! I thought you'd never ask!
Oh, God. Here we go.
I'll call it up. I'll get you the pick.
Jeez, we've never seen this pick
Shout
before.
out. We got a big shout out to Russ Rachel Brady Network. Russ Rachel Brady Network. Russ Rachel Brady Network. Russ Rachel Brady Network. $5. Big shout out to all of you. I love you all, and my heart beats as one as you all. Russ Rachel Brady. Russ Rachel Brady. Russ Rachel Brady. We got Patek Philippe. I'm just going to read that. We'll come back to my collection in one moment. Can you show me a 5110G and tell me why you'd sell your Grail for the J? Big photo. Only fucker. Don't cheap out on me here. I will show you that. That's no problems at all. Look, I didn't have a lot of money before, okay? You've got to understand where I am coming from. I never had much money before. I was poor. I've always loved, this is the 52, 50, 25, 23. Patek, I got to show you. 51G. This is the one I had this model before. I sold it and got the yellow gold. You know what? It was a beautiful Patek. I love that watch. Okay.
Let me share here to get a big photo going. All right, here we go. 5110G. Oh, I can't make these any bigger. Bummer.
No, 5110G. That was my first world time I ever got. I got a 5110G. I fucking loved it. I really loved it. You know,
Crown guards. Talk
it
about
was
the crown guards.
amazing shit. Amazing shit. That's what it was. A beautiful watch. It's just fucking gorgeous. Just I loved them. They're beautiful. Probably the nicest dial on the world time I've ever seen. I love them. I miss it every day. Okay. I miss them.
If you could have a running seconds hand, would you add it?
A running seconds hand?
Yeah, do you think this watch is missing
That's
it?
the charm of it. It doesn't need it. See, what you find is a lot of perpetual calendars, they also don't have second hand. You know why? Because they use that 240 movement. If you're using the micro rotor movement, you can't have center seconds. Do you understand that? That's why on your watch, they're not using the 240. You're using, and that's part of the charm of your. Some purists say that it's got to be a 240 base, but you know what? I think they're just snobs over at Purist Pro. They're not your friends, okay? Can I say that to you? They're not your friends. They're just snobs who got nothing better.
We're on the Patek topic. Let's talk about the journey here, okay? So I've been thinking about the Patek journey, right? So I've joined the Grand Comp Club, right? So I'm thinking, what's after this? What's the next step here? Okay.
Do you say Grand Comp
Grand complication?
But you have to own one to say that. Otherwise, it sounds very douchey. But if you own,
you douchebag.
If you own one,
unfortunately, fella can use that word as well.
Well, the 5320 is a grand complication.
But if you own one, you can say it. If you don't own one,
you can't. See, I haven't quite joined the club yet. Do you understand?
Isn't the world time a grand comp?
No, it's a simple complication, Marcus. Simple.
So you're pontiff.
Look, we both own complications. Can we leave it at that?
Well, here, let's talk about the next level here because I've been doing some digging here. Okay,
Roy, you got a lot of road noise, Roy.
Do I? I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. It's Roy. He's in the car. You can tell.
Oh, so I've been doing some digging and I'm thinking, what's the next step? You know, I don't want to get. There's a lot of Pateks I like, you know, but I just doesn't know if I'm going in the right direction.
Perpetual calendar, isn't that where you have to head for? Isn't that the general direction?
Well, that's what I have right now.
Well, then what else is there? What is more?
Well, I'm going to show you. There's the next level here, Marky Po.
Who knew?
I'm going to show you right now. I got to stop sharing this screen. Hold on. And I'm going to pull up the next screen here. I'm going to see who can get this reference first. Okay, here we go. Da da da. Bada bing, bada bing. Do you know what this is? Quick.
Holy fuck. Is that a 5970?
No.
3970?
That's it, baby. 3970, boys. We're talking perpetual calendar chronograph.
Okay.
So I'm starting to think this is the next step. Okay, this is the next step.
For you?
Well, not just for me, for anyone that's taken the step into.
Oh, they're 36 mils.
Well, let me explain why I'm looking at this one, because the current iteration, the 5270, is a 41 mil, and I've tried it on, and it's a fucking monster. It's an absolute monster. So I think this one is it's more fitting for me.
Also, don't those lugs extend out its wrist presence?
It does. It's a really big watch. But these older ones, these 3970s, are actually 36 mil.
Yeah, but look at the lugs on it. It's got lugs for miles. So
yeah,
it would increase its wrist presence.
100%.
And the other great part about these is they have such.
That's right.
They have such classic lines. I mean, it just screams like classic Patek in a way that I don't feel like the new one does.
100%. You know, the thing about these two, back in the day, these were almost impossible to sell. These were like very difficult for the retailers to get rid of. But now they're becoming highly collectible. But what's interesting about this reference specifically is there's 4 different versions of it. You know, they came out at different times. And like the first one, where is it here? The first version, yeah, here it is, 1986. So that's when it came out. And here it is in the yellow gold, and it had the clear case back, right? So you have the snap-on display case back, and then the next reference, though, they went to the closed case back. Okay, so you can see right here.
Well, actually, they also the last reference, they had an exhibition back where you could change. They gave you you could change between the two.
They're still doing that even now, but back then it was one or the other, you know. So anyways, one of the things I found fascinating when I looked into these, here's the 3rd series, a little bit of a design change, you can see, just slightly. One of the big things though that I noticed between the 1st and 2nd series is that on the 3rd series they switched it to remove the 1 between the dot. You know, between the 31 and the 1, they removed the dot. So if you see on version 2, you see the dot there. And likewise on version 1. And for some reason, I'm still trying to find out, you know, what the reasoning is. But they removed the dot once they got to the 3rd series. And that bugs me. It's like that on my 5320. Where the fuck is the dot? We need the dot.
I want my dot.
But it is what it is. But anyways, there's a whole lineage here of 3970s.
But can you really get a watch missing a dot and not stare at your wrist all day long going, where the fuck is that dot? It's gonna bug you. It's the fatal flaw. You'll never sleep.
Well, one thing nice on some of them, like my 5320, they made the 1 in red, so it differentiates a little bit. But anyways, I just think this is fucking an amazing piece, and it just seems like that next step up from the perpetual to add the chronograph integrated.
I love it. I love it. What metal would you get? White, yellow, or rose if you had a choice?
If I had a choice, white.
Yellow's
But when
the most common.
Yellow's the most common. It's the least expensive. I mean, I've always kind of been a white metal kind of person, but I mean, look at that. Yeah, I mean, fuck, I would take that rose gold all day. That looks incredible.
I don't think they started using the other 3 metals much until the 4th series. So if you want an early series watch, it's a lot harder.
That's a really good point.
And you will pay out the nose for a 1st series and somewhat for a 2nd series.
I know, that's what it's looking like.
There goes the
because when you go on Chrono, the cheapest 3970s out there are around 150.
Ooh.
Fuck.
And you could easily add $100,000 for a 1st series, depending on completeness and condition.
Shit, I would rather get a Brazilian.
What's crazy is they sold originally. What did it say? I think in the $60,000 to $80,000.
Well, for a number of years ago, if you're talking about like 2017, 2018, they were still $70,000 watches.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they're starting to catch a lot of momentum. Yeah, here, I'll pull it up.
I'd like to see Breguet go that way. You know that?
In what way?
Being desired and lusted after.
Yeah.
Of course, then you can afford to sell them to get Patek again.
Here, I'll just show you this real quick, just to give you some reference here. So 3970s on Chrono. First of all, there's only 33 listings.
Chat from Patek Philippe, $5. 3970 is too stubby. It's 36 mils but thick. Get the 5970 or the 5270, Kessler. Yeah, but they're so expensive.
Now let's look at the 5970. I know the 5270 because I tried on the green dial. Let's look at this.
You know, the funny thing is they're all Lemania except for the 5270. The 5970 and 3970 are Lemania based.
Holy shit, these are expensive, Tan. Holy shit. All right, so let me pull this up. The 5970s are not cheap.
Kessler, when you're looking at the 3970s too, like if you're going to buy one, pay attention to the lugs because they lose their shape quick with polish.
Yeah, you're right. And the design of them, it's hard to kind of tell, I bet. They're already kind of smooth, you know.
By the way, guys, Trump has imposed
just a little bit of detail there and it goes away.
What'd you say, Arch?
Trump has imposed 25% tariffs on Australia, our friendly nation, on aluminum and steel. Very nasty. He's not a friend anymore, I'm afraid.
Well, you're a big Trump supporter, you know? Come on, you love him. You promote him.
I loved.
I see. All right. Back to regularly scheduled programming.
I got to tell you something. Kessler, which would you see? I don't think I would sell it because it's, you know, I think the dial on the 5110 is perfect. The only problem is, you know what's wrong with it?
What's that?
I think the size. You got 40 mil, you got big watches. You can't go to a small size. That is a fucking mistake, man. You can't do that. Well, this is interesting.
Okay? I didn't consider this 5970. I kind of spaced on that one. That one is 40 mil. It is smaller than the 5270. I'll have to try it in person. Consider that.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a lot more for those. People consider those to be the best of the Virtual Chronos in the modern era.
Right.
They're amazing watches, but you know, I got to tell you, they are amazing, and it'd be amazing if you got one. You get a lot of kudos on our show. We'd kiss your ass.
We'll see how it goes at the museum. Maybe we'll get some motivation.
tell me this. Has your wife given you input on this? What has she said? Do it.
Oh no, I haven't even. I'm just bullshitting. This is a lot. I can't do this anytime soon. We're talking just grails here.
Let's not winner talk. By the way, let's have a look at my collection. Someone was asking what's happened. So basically what has happened is there's the collection, and I've added a Breguet Type 21 is back, and the 7147 enamel dial. So this is basically, that's the collection. Plus I've got 2 more Breguets. I've got 3 Breguets now. And I'm actually thinking of getting another Breguet. Can I say that to you? And I got to tell you something. You know, the thing about Breguet is they use Lemania movements. You know who else uses Lemania movements?
Patek, baby. So what Breguet are you thinking? Marine?
I don't want to talk about it at the moment. I will tell you once I've secured it, okay?
Okay.
But it's something I've always wanted, okay? Can I say that?
Vacheron's still using those.
You know, Roy, would you get a Vache? I always see you as a Vache man. You know what I mean?
I like Vacherons a lot, but yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth. The one that I really liked was the Overseas Ultra Thin that they did in white gold for like 2 or 3 years, but obviously that's untouchable at this point.
Yeah, I get you. But, you know, Roy, you've always been someone I've looked up to. I think you would really be cool with a Vache on your wrist.
And it might happen one day. We'll see. Never know where things go.
I think you'd be cooler. You would be cooler. Do you understand?
Yeah.
How cool
Yeah, the other issue I have with Vacheron is I like a lot of their dress watches, but lifestyle.
How cool do you want to be? Can I ask you that? And we got Mark. Oh, what happened to Mark? Mark fell out there.
Yeah, internet issues.
By the way, Mark, you know one watch I would never sell in this collection?
Wait. That no, which one? The Zenith. You love that.
The gold JLC. I'd never sell that. I love that.
That's because you can't sell that. I like that watch though. Honestly, I like it a lot. And for the right price, I would buy that. I think it's...
Yeah, it is beautiful.
I would struggle because I would want a bracelet, which would push its value up much, much higher.
I got to tell you something. I always saw Roy as being someone who would have a high... I can see you walking around in a tuxedo. You got to get some dress watches, Roy. I'm sorry, man. You got to do it, man. I'm sorry. You've got to do it. I'm sorry, okay? I'm here to help you. Well, we'll navigate the path together, okay? We'll navigate it, okay? Let's navigate it together, okay, Roy?
Wakey, Roy. Oh, he's back. He was gone, and now he is back.
Yeah, we got storms rolling in here. The wind is screwing with the cell reception at home now.
Yeah, it's terrible. I wanted to ask Keslo something. If you got one of those watches we're talking about, right? Say you got it, right? I just bring up my other, by the way, for 10% Rolex, I'm just going to bring up the other photo of the rest of my collection. I'm just bringing that up because some people have not seen it. You've got to remember, some people have not seen it. Just bringing it up now. Here we go. Have a look at this. There we go. That's the 3 Breguets. My 3 Breguets. I got to ask you something, Keslo.
Yo.
Would you be prepared to get rid of the Batman, the Batgirl, and the Explorer to help fund a Patek upgrade?
Oh, that wouldn't even put a dent in that perpetual chrono. I'm starting to think it's better to just keep those and just wait.
Patel put you off of it, didn't he?
Well, it's just when you get to these numbers, what the fuck is?
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Kessler, how you going, buddy?
What's up?
What was that for?
Trouble's here.
What?
I knew you were trouble when you walked into the room.
What do you mean trouble?
Oh.
Give us.
Oh, you must have gone back and watched the stream yesterday, and maybe you read the chat.
There we go.
Would you forget to read the cue card, asshole? Read the cue card.
We got another super chat in. Patek Chris has come in, $3.50 New Zealand. Name of your collection, Dave Sloppy Shitters. Oh my God.
Whoa, that was rude.
What's with this? What strap?
Speaking of rude,
they look like my filler socks.
Are you reading the cue cards because you fluffed your last?
Yes. What's wrong? Look at that watch
if he was on set, would he get thrown off and sent back?
Yes, I got a wet mouth. I was gardening.
Would they give him an earpiece and a fluffer?
Hey, Kessler, how you go? Hey, Kessler, one sec. Hey, what watch have you been promised? You've been promised a Tiffany stamp, Patek. Have you been promised a watch?
Yes.
There's a certain flamboyant fuck promised you a watch.
Yes.
Yes, hasn't he?
Exactly.
Yes, hasn't he?
Nautilus, baby, Nautilus.
He has. But you know how I noticed this? Because when Bear made a comment yesterday, you hit back and said, at least I didn't pay twice retail. That implies that you tend to get one at retail.
I retract that.
That was a nasty comment.
I retract that.
That was a nasty comment. Do you admit?
He caught a stray. I retract.
Look, we went and reviewed the footage yesterday. Were you looking at the messages on your phone? Was your phone pinging? Be honest. Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was he feeding you lines?
Come on.
Right, by the way, I ordered some tank tops. Nice. Thanks for recommendation. What are you wearing today?
Oh, I'm wearing one of the Nike shirts. It seems like a nice balance for our weather at the moment.
Which color today?
Black.
Yeah, all right. Archie, you started well today. You're engaged, full of energy. In the last 3 minutes, you petered out.
I am committed. You know this?
You should be committed. By the way, Lux made more than you yesterday. Great show.
That's good. We're on the same team, Narc.
Same team. You know why he did so well? You weren't on it, and Jonic was on it. Easy company.
That's good.
JB.
Look,
sorry?
They're great guys. They are good guys. Narc, I got to tell you
the fuck out of you.
Hey, Narc. Sirocco hated you, by the way.
That's your way of saying you love me. Is that right?
I do love you, Narc. You can be a cunt. You can be ungrateful. You can be awful. But I do love you, okay?
All right. I'm going to retract some comments, some rumors I've been spreading. I retract the comments about your father banging your wife and your sons being your brothers. I retract that. It's retracted. Never happened.
What about the dick pics I sent you? Can you retract that?
I gotta go. Kessler, I love you, buddy.
Nah, can you play with my cock? Can you play with my cock?
Where's this going?
Can you play with my cock? I'm asking you.
He's got me here, Mark. What comeback? There's no comeback.
Can you play with my cock, Narc?
Hey, Kessler, talk about cocks. Say hello to IC for me.
Jesus.
Hey, by the way, you got to apologize to Watch Nicholas.
Let me tell you. Let's clear the air. I got no problem with Watch Nick. Okay.
Yes, you did. You came and slandered him.
I don't. I did not slander. No. Everything got
buddy.
thrown out of proportion. Let me be clear. I had a good time with Watch Nick. Okay. Did I say he crashed the party? Yes, but at the same time, come to find out, he was invited. So from his point of view,
all right. Let me just clear things up, right?
Look, Okay, clear it up.
You came on and you said there were allegations that he doxed Ali's daughter. That's allegations. You have no proof.
That's true. I never accused him of anything.
Buddy.
You put those words. I never accused. I never accused him.
Wait, when I mentioned something about OC, you go, where's the proof? You made an allegation with no proof, so you shouldn't have even brought it up. You defamed Watch Nicholas's character.
No, all I did was ask him what his thoughts on this were. I wasn't saying
but you brought it up. You're a gossip monger.
I did, because I've seen his polls about Keslow gay and Jamie the racist and all the other.
Hey, Keslow's not gay, okay?
Even if it is, look, I've been around this channel long enough.
No, he's jakey straight.
I'd gladly suck your cock, Narc. I'd gladly suck your cock any day of the week.
Hey, he's as straight as jakey.
Look,
there's room for only one gay here, and I claim that role.
It's water off a duck's back. I've been on this channel long enough. You can talk all the shit you want. I really don't care.
Kessler, we love you.
The only issue are these allegations of out of stream nonsense. Okay, and I wasn't accusing him of anything. All I was saying was, what's up with that?
Do you admit? Yesterday you're a bit biased.
Narc, do you know how I know positively that Keslow is not gay? I mean, I have proof positive.
He's jakey straight. He's straight.
Do you know? But do you know what the proof is? Do you know the proof that I have?
He knocked you back. He knocked you back.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put it into the private message.
Let's not make it about you, Kessler. So you retract those allegations. Yes or no?
I never made any allegations. These aren't the things I made up.
I knew nothing about Watch Nicholas and Ali Rez's daughter. You brought it up. You're gossip queen.
Narc, the proof is in the private chat for you.
Narc is very fucking nasty.
Just look at the private chat. And
his dick doesn't taste like shit.
Look, like I said, I had a good time with Watchnik. I have no problems with Watchnik.
Yes, you do have a problem. Yeah, you do. So, Kessler, I'm fair and balanced. I love you. I defended you. I copped flack defending you. Do you understand? I copped flack. My character's in question now. I don't like that.
Now you know why he says "uh-oh" when you come into the room. Now you know why. Uh-oh.
But look, I've worked out why you're defending him. OC has promised you a Tiffany stamp Patek.
It's not OC. It's there's so many other players here. He's not just going after me. He's going after other people too. And it's okay. I don't even care about that. All I hear are the allegations of out of stream stuff that I'm not even saying he did. I'm just saying I just wanted to get his take on it. That's it. And he didn't want to talk about it. And that's
too with a photo. You
no, I did not. Let's go into that. No, let me speak for a second. Number one, he never asked me not to show any photos. Okay.
He said he did.
No, he didn't. That's a flat out lie. If he asked me, if he said, "Hey, I don't want my face shown," I would have, of course, I would have respected that. He was already on the streams in New York. Number one, his face is already out there. Number two, the only person that requested not to be on camera was Mike the Snake's car. He said, "Don't show my car."
What do you mean the car requested?
Mike said, "Don't show my car." That's the only. Everyone else, I asked him, "Can I take a photo?" Yes, dude, you're at a meetup. How do you expect not for these photos not to? Your photo's already out there. What? I'm not doxing anyone. I'm not giving anyone's name. I showed a photo of the meetup. He never asked not to show that stuff.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. But just admit you're a bit out of line yesterday. That's all I want. I want to set the record straight. You're a bit out of line. Be honest.
Sure.
Upon self-reflection.
Look. It's all I'm saying is it's all good. There's no problem with anyone. I want peace. I want happiness. I'm here for watch talk.
Ivor's got a question. Has OC promised you any watch of any kind? Yes or no?
No, you're making up bullshit. You guys are all spinning the bullshit. What do you mean promise a watch? What does that even mean? He's not a fucking AD. And then meanwhile, and then I hear
another question from Mr. Sosa. Has OC made a pass at you?
What OC made a pass at me? What do you mean? No.
What do you mean? No. What do you mean? Didn't make a pass at you.
I don't even know what that means.
So that's a yes. All right, that's it. Any other questions from the chat? I gotta go.
Thank you.
Kessler, I love you. Like I said, I just have to set the record straight. I thought we were going to lose you to the other side. I want you to be fluid.
Ridiculous.
There's no loyalty test here.
Can we lose you to the other side, or is that not?
Greg Davis?
Guys,
Is there a Huckleby? I gotta go.
I gotta go. I'm taking my boyfriend to the movies, so I gotta get myself together.
Hey, Marky, thank you so much for coming on, man. I love you.
Thank you for having me.
And
tomorrow we'll play that video, and
yeah, we're gonna play it together. I want to hold hands with you, okay?
exactly. Swap spits, and have a good time. Take care, boys.
Thank you. I gotta ask you something, honestly, Narc. If you had all the money in the world, right? What watch would you buy? Seriously, I want to ask. Oh, he's gone. Narc's gone. Keslo, and we got Roy here. Keslo and Mike the Snake. Keslo, I want to ask you something, Keslo.
What do you got?
What watch, like you've got a perpetual calendar, which is an amazing achievement, right? What watch do you think, hey, I could swap that? What watch do you see? I mean, let's be honest. I don't think any 36 mil watch is going to please you. What watch, what does come up? Like, do you see jaunes? Do any jaunes come up? You'd swap your perpetual for a jaune? Would you do like a Havana? Would you swap or not? How do you feel on that?
That's a tough one. Fuck, for a Havana. Oh, fuck. That's a good question. I don't know what I would do there. Man, I really love the 5320. It's really hard to beat. When you ask that, it's a tough ask. Would I do that? I really don't know. I mean, on paper, you'd have to go Havana, right? It's worth more. But
I mean, is it all about the money? This is the thing.
No,
Are we just
right? That's no.
There's such different itches. It's like I don't know how you compare the two.
Yeah, I don't know what I would swap for, Paul. I really love it. I don't have that itch at the moment. I haven't thought about it. I'd prefer to add. I'd prefer to wait.
Let me ask you something. When you make a major watch purchase, do you need to get your wife's approval?
I mean, I would tell her, but she's pretty much down for all this. I mean, she's seen how, when you buy it at the right price, you're not losing all your money.
But do you need her permission?
No.
Would you ever ask her for a loan to help you pay for one?
Everything's combined. Everything is just one. So it's all open and honest.
Okay. So you don't need her permission. Is that what you're saying to me?
In a word, yeah. I mean, I would have a discussion about it. I wouldn't just.
Well, I think there's two things here. There's a difference between needing permission and spending $100,000 without telling your spouse. You're not necessarily asking permission, but you're just saying, hey, I'm thinking about getting X.
Right.
The reason I'm asking this, I got a friend who recently bought a Maserati. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need permission if you bought a Maserati? Can I ask you that? That's what I want to ask.
I mean, it should definitely be a discussion. I don't know if permission is the right word, but I don't think it's something you just show up and you're like, hey, look what I got. I mean, you're in it together. It's something that should you'd want them to be on board with.
No, see, Kessel, I think you and your wife handle this crap like myself and my wife do, but there are a lot of people that just, I don't know, they approach this whole scenario weirdly, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah,
there are a lot of people that keep their finances and stuff completely separate, and in that case, it's like, okay, I guess you wouldn't say anything, but I mean, I don't know, it just seems like out of respect, you would sort of bring them into what you're considering if it's spending a ton of money.
That's an interesting dynamic. I've heard Dave Ramsey talk about this. He says it's detrimental to relationships to have all your finances separate like that.
I agree.
That must be a tricky thing. I don't know how a relationship like that, that's an interesting dynamic,
I can tell you the people that I know that do it, none of them are on their first marriage.
Ooh.
What's that? Separate finances or sorry, say that again?
completely separate finances. They have one like combined bank account where they put in the money separately each for like the mortgage and shit like that to come out.
But they do their taxes together.
You're saying it doesn't work. You're saying it doesn't work.
I'm just saying I don't know anybody on their first marriage who is going about it in that manner.
Okay, that's kind of okay, fair. So you're combined, aren't you? You're combined.
Yeah.
Roy, you're combined, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How much could you spend without seeking permission? Can I ask you that?
Like I said, it's not seeking permission. It's just if you're going to spend a bunch of money, you say something. You know, whether it's her buying something or me buying something. It's not like
hey,
a
honey,
permission kind
I'm
of
buying
thing.
a Maserati.
I'm not gonna tell her no, and she's not gonna tell me no. But we're gonna let each other know what's going on out of respect.
Right.
It's respect. I gotta package it that way. That's what I'm doing wrong. I gotta package it that way. It's respect. You see what I mean, Kessler? We got the wrong wording, okay?
Yeah.
It's like an American Express Platinum card. There is a limit. Even though the brochure says no preset spending limit, it doesn't mean you can buy the Empire State Building on it.
Now, is Mike passing out or is he looking at his phone? Oh, there he is.
No, I was texting.
Looked like you were nodding out. Looked like you were nodding out for a second.
No, just texting.
What were you texting, Mike? I'm just intrigued.
Just nothing. Back and forth stuff. Okay. We had a scare with my brother. He was on like a 3-week Asian fun tour with his kids and his wife, and he came home, but he was so jet lagged, he just slept for like 18 hours, and my other brother from Texas called and said, you know, Pete's not answering his phone, and you know I don't feel I got a bad feeling, and so I just jumped in my car and I'm 10 minutes away, so I just said I'll go check, and he'd taken the NyQuil, you know. And so he was just really super kind of tired and wiped out. So I just checked on him and said, okay, glad to see you're here. You're okay.
He's okay, isn't he?
What?
He's okay, but isn't he?
Yeah, he's totally fine. He was fine then. I just woke him up out of a deep sleep, you know. But just, it's cool that my family's tight like that, you know. We can just within minutes kind of like check on each other and stuff. My mom's a minute away, 2 minutes away, so if something comes up with her, I can be right there. And yeah, it's cool.
Because I would worry about you, Mike. I would want to make sure you're okay. You know, I would jump in the car and check you if it happened as well, you know?
I'd hope somebody would. Yeah, for sure.
We did the same thing with Clive. We saved his life during COVID. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Clive was not conscious, and we actually did a welfare check, and he wasn't well. Yeah, it's a true story. True story. But I got to ask you something, Kessler. Are you still there? Kessler?
I am here. I am here.
Come on, man. The Jean would tug at your heart. How about an MB&F?
No, I did the Jean first. I mean, you nailed it on the head.
Roy, would you ever get rid of your Rolex if it meant you could get something absolutely amazing? Would you ever do that or not?
I don't know, because I wanted the day since I got into watches. You know, it's one of those things I wanted from the very beginning, Archie.
Think outside the box, man.
But if it was a watch that you had wanted from the beginning, from the start of it, would you ever really get rid of that?
You know, Roy, my eyes are bigger than my wallet. Can I say that to you?
Okay. It's all of us, you know.
I have a big problem. I got some serious spending problems at time. I'm embarrassed to tell you how stupid I am at times, okay? Like, I get addicted to buying shit that I don't even need or want. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever had an addiction yourself, Roy?
Not really. I'm not like the biggest like addictive kind of personality, so.
Because it can happen it can creep up on you very quickly. You know what I mean? These addictions, they can creep up on you very, very quickly. And before you know it, it's gone. We got a super chat from Will Money, $5. Big boy, when are you walking? Big boy, when you are walking guard at Breguet Boutique, are you preventing poor punters in the store from leaving until they buy a piece? I got to tell you something. Everyone at Breguet loves me. I'm actually really in love with the brand. The only thing I'm trying to work out is, can you get your name in the archives if you didn't buy it?
Archie, the Breguet. Yes. The Breguet, like, I know you like that, what is it, the chronograph that has the two movements and whatnot, but man, what do you think of the 7047, the tourbillon with the fusee and chain?
Fucking amazing.
They're about the same price.
Yeah, but that two movement one is just amazing. You understand? Like, there's nothing like it, man. It's
well, you've become a chronograph guy. Like, over the years, you've become a chronograph guy.
Chain,
slowly.
you know, that chain. That's actually fucking amazing shit. I really, that chain stuff, how they do it. I don't know if you know the history of it. But that's
I've heard of some. Yeah, it's like they had Renoy Poppy, I believe, helped them with it.
I mean, you know how fucking rare that is. Like it's beyond fucking. You know what I'm saying, don't you? No.
Yeah, no. That's why I keep on looking at it. It's such an amazing watch in the tradition line and that like classic style that they've come up with for themselves, and you get a fusee and chain, and you get a tourbillon from Breguet.
You know how rare that is? You know how hard it is to own that shit?
Yeah, I imagine that one might take a little bit to keep up.
Super chat from CB! By the way, CB, I'm wearing the world time today. $5, Archie. Tickle Kessler with the Havana. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up, Kessler. Let you do that.
Kessler, do you have a history with the Havana? Why are they coming at you so hard with the Havana?
He got his name down.
He did? Okay, I didn't know that.
And he went to an event. Yeah. He's gone to an event, haven't you?
Went to an event. We had the sit down. We had the interview. But
gotcha.
Did you pass? Did you find out how your results are? At least when you go to school or university, they tell you how you're gone. Did they give you the results? I mean,
well, they give you an email each year. Sorry, this year it's fully allocated. Maybe next year. You know, they give you that update.
It's like a club you can never get into.
What's the retail on the Havana?
40 or 50. The platinum is a little more expensive than the rose gold.
Gotcha. Would you do platinum or would you do rose?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You know, I like the platinum, but with the brown.
Yeah, they got a few. Havana, they've had a few different. The Havana itself. There's actually a few interpretations on it. What are you looking at?
There's different complications. I would just go with the simple three-hander this time only. I like that.
Yeah.
It's first of all, it's less expensive, and the other ones don't do that much more.
So this is the one. I'm just bringing it up there now. That's the first one. Okay, simple. When you say three hands, it's not actually three hands. It's actually four hands because it's got a power reserve.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Time only. Yeah, you're right. Four hands.
Like that there. Okay, that's it. Now,
let me take mine down. I'll show yours here. Let's add that.
Now, so how much is this? How much would this be? This watch?
I'm ballparking. I think when I was looking at it, it was somewhere in the range of like high 40s, low 50s, somewhere in there.
I will say this one thing that I always find with your when you like the retail prices are not crazy for what they're doing.
Yeah, compared to secondhand. You know one thing crazy about this piece? So they also make a bracelet that you could put on, right? and it actually attaches to many other of the cases they have. So if you get multiples, you can actually swap the bracelet on. But the platinum bracelet is $50,000. It's just as much as the watch.
They're pretty bracelets.
Their Havana. Guess who sent me
hell.
their photo of their Havana? Have a look at this one. This is from CB.
Oh, he has it?
Yeah, look at that fucking moon phase.
The Luna.
The 2 date.
Yeah, with the moon phase. That's really pretty.
What do you think?
I mean, I love it. I love it. It's a little busier, but fuck it. It works nicely. You know, these
it is busy, but it works.
Yeah, it does work. These are the best hands in watchmaking. In my opinion, this is just perfection. The way they come to that fine point like that, it's just really well done.
One of the things that I like about this too is the way that where they put the moon, where they put the date. They didn't take away any more of the numerals. I think that's nice.
Yes. Okay, that's another thing I really like. They don't cut off the numerals. They just make it a little smaller, like that 9. You know, I much prefer that than.
And I also like the radial array. Like Rolex used to do that with their Arabic dials. I always appreciated the radial array.
Right. One thing that's a little bit cheap on these FP Journes, you know, the dial, it has that rose lathe finishing on it, but it's actually not rose lathe. It's actually just a stamp design.
How much are you looking at for a Havana? How much would you looking for the base Havana? Kessler, I'll just pull your
base
picture
Havana's
up.
Ballpark 50. I haven't looked at the price in a couple years, but that's what I remember.
Okay, so your watch itself. How much was your perpetual? What could you get?
Same price point. I mean, the retail of the 5320 is 100, but secondhand they're in the 50s.
Okay, so would you be prepared to swap for a? Would you do that or not?
Probably not. Now that I really think about it, probably not. I love that piece, but I think a perpetual calendar Patek is better than a time only.
But it's an FP Journe. Don't you think it's a better brand? Then isn't that better? Isn't it better to have a Journe?
In some ways, yeah. You know, there's only 900 made compared to 70,000 Pateks. You know, there is an exclusivity to it.
Is it 70,000? Is that high now?
Oh yeah, I've heard numbers as high as 90,000. I had one when I was in Taiwan. The Patek AD manager told me that they're up to 90,000. But that's the highest I've heard.
They keep opening new production, so I mean, it's just
jumping on. Hey,
wait! Go back to the watch before. It's too busy. The date window looks cheap. It looks like you just cut it out. It's an afterthought. Pull it back up. I'm sorry. Too much ball washing here. This watch. Put it back up. Go back. Archie.
Yes.
Archie.
Yeah. It's knock. It's knock.
So you agree, Knock? You'd go time only here.
Yeah, time only. What the fuck? Go back to the previous picture.
Oh, that
this
was
looks a lot better.
That's CB's. We can't attack our sponsors, Knock.
Fuck that thirsty flexing fuck.
What?
No ball washing here. This looks a lot better. Go back.
No, Knock. I'm not going to enter this game with my best sponsor.
No.
Tan
Fuck
and
him.
CB.
He's a flexer. I love CB. No, we're going to be honest here. Go back. Go back, otherwise I'm not going to Lux's show. I'm not going to help Lux. You've got a choice. Go back.
I'm trying to find it now. Keep talking.
Right? No, this looks a lot better. Do you agree, Kessler? Or do you have to wait for fucking OC to message you to make a comment?
I like this one. I like the simplicity of the time only. I would gladly take the other if that was. That's
date
the thing.
windows on FP Journes look cheap to me. They look like I cut it out with a fucking razor blade. Pull it up, Arch.
That's
Arch.
CB's watch. I can't do that against CB. CB's my friend. Okay.
So we can't criticize that flexing cunt's watch.
Well, Narky, do you bring in the bucks?
Yes, I do.
It's all about the bucks, Nark. The business is being
right. You agree with the other watch? This looks a lot better.
I like the simpler one more, but yeah.
So you hate CB's
I like the other one as well. I like this more.
Hey, CB, you should know the fucking date. You don't need a date window, you stupid fuck. Who needs a date?
Yeah, everything on this watch is so amazing. The architecture of the movement, the case
Yes.
back.
No, so we agree. The date window looks cheap. Too much is going on.
Date wheel, for fuck's sake. You can't get better than that, Narc.
What? This looks good. All right, you got a comment. You got a super chat from the CB. These look better. I don't like the dates on FB Jones. It looks cheap. Why are you with me?
CB, here we go. I'm going to jump Malik for 1 moment. CB, $5. Narc, to really flex, I would have to send dick pics. Watches a half flex. Good.
Yeah, just don't send it to Arch. You'll send it to Tommy, and Tommy will send it to me. Look, this spoils it. Look at it. It's too much. The blue, no. The date, no. Keep it simple. Am I right here, Roy?
I said, I think I like both. I like the simpler one more.
No. Don't
take
sit on the
this one
fence
as well.
No, the blue spoils it. I'm sorry, the blue spoils it.
I could have either and be happy.
I got a grand Malik diamond, $10. Arch, do you really hate the VP
nice.
blue 4600E on the bracelet? I saw one in person and I want one. Now I gotta tell you, the 47E. I gotta tell you something. 4600E VC. I gotta tell you, do I hate it? Well, it's a 56. It's a 56. It's a 56.
He's a big donor, so you got to be careful. We'll wash him a little bit.
I don't like the 56 series. Okay,
you hate it. You hate it.
Yeah. Easy on deck.
Easy. How you going, buddy?
Nah, we love you.
How's your child bride? We don't watch talk here. Do you know anything about watches?
Yes. You know the greatest complication on a watch is a date.
Who the fuck wants a date on a watch? You know what's worse? The ones with the months and the fucking year. CB, you stupid fuck. That's why you got a phone.
I'm just going to the toilet. I'll be back.
Of course you'll be back. Of course you'll be back.
I'll handle the show, Uncle Arch. I'll handle the show.
Thank you.
Why are we ball washing donors here?
We need the donors. We need the donors.
No. Come on. CB. The date spoils it.
We need them, Narc.
Leave Mark is having a power nap. Leave him alone.
Hey, I think the date ruins the sub way more than it ruins that.
Yeah. I agree, Roy. That's why you got the fucking phone. A watch is it's an ornament. It's jewelry. You don't need a fucking date. Plus, half the people in the chat are 50 years old. They can't fucking see the date. They're fucking blind as bats.
Yeah, but that's why you got the moon phase too, and that's completely useless. But it's pretty.
Naki.
Yeah, the moon phase okay, but not with a fucking date. Then look at the watch. What else can we add here? Let's add the year. Let's add the century. It's getting ridiculous, Roy.
No, we got to go IWC. Yeah, we'll add the year and the century.
Let's say no to fucking dates.
Just because.
Let's say
Kessler,
no.
What do you think? Kessler? What does those think?
I'm gonna pull.
What does those think?
I'm gonna pull another one up for you here, because this one has a date, but I think it's a little nicer.
So, do you agree that CB's watch is a shitter?
No,
yes or no?
Not. No.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Okay, let me show you this one. Let me know what you think of this. So here's the Automatique. Okay.
Pull it up. I can't see shit.
Oh. You can't see that? Oh, hold on. He's got his screen on. Hold on.
And Jimmy, whoever the hell you are.
There it is.
No, that is fucking ugly.
You don't like
fucking
that?
Ugly. No.
It's cleaner, though.
You don't like the classic Jorn kind of dial.
I don't like the aesthetic. I'm sorry, Roy. I don't like it. This is no.
Negative space, bro. Negative
it's
space.
A watch within a watch.
This is like Jorn's thing with the exposed screws and the small dials. Like,
exposed screws.
Right. It's an Inception watch. A watch within a watch. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it has
Narc,
exposed
how does
screws.
the anti-Semitism factor into Jordan for you then?
No. You mistaken the red-headed gold-digging cunt. He's the anti-Semite. This guy's anti-Zionist.
You know,
I
Roy,
see,
one
I
thing
see.
you asked me, one thing I always normally go
Jimmy,
for
you
white metal,
maggot.
but
Yeah.
one thing with these FP Jorns that makes me
Jimmy, I
consider the
like
rose
you.
gold is the movement itself. You know, is rose
Oh,
gold.
you don't like the
So
contrast on the case back? See, I think
it's
that looks
cool.
cool with
I
the
just
rose.
think I think it goes better
listen,
like
you
that.
pretentious fuck. Listen here, you pretentious fuck.
Mm.
You wear the watch. You don't take your watch off and say, "Look at the back."
It has exposed screws,
You do that with
Narkai.
you do that with a watch made up to those C. But when you walk out of a restaurant, you don't take your watch off and say, "Look at the watch back." No, you don't.
You don't
Jimmy,
take your watch off and bring it to all the
whoever the
tables
hell
and ask
you
people to
are,
look
you
at the
No,
back?
OC does that to
go
strangers
screw
when he says,
yourself.
"Give me your watch." Look at I just don't like the aesthetic. A watch within a
Let
watch.
me ask you this: strap or bracelet? If you had to go for it.
They both look shit. I'm sorry. I can't look. I'm not a fan of this aesthetic.
This is a
Sorry.
coveted piece, Narc. This is one of the hardest watches to get in the entire.
No. This is why you got.
journey.
This is why you watch nerds a bunch of sheep. As a layperson here, I'm using a layman's perspective. It's an ugly-looking watch. It looks
Really?
unfinished. It's off. The balance is off. Symmetry's off.
Jimmy, can you send a super chat?
Am I right here? Easy.
Let me show you their heavy
Yes,
hitter.
yes,
Maybe
yes,
you'll like the
yes.
heavy
Oh, look
hitter.
at that one there. That
The
one there looks
resonance.
like. No, you know what that looks like? Kay's tits with nipples. Look at it. Kay's tits with
Exposed
nipples.
screws, Narkai.
Go back to it. Go back to it. Sorry.
How do you not like this? Come on, this is fucking
Look,
class.
huge. Look, Kay's
nasty.
breast with huge
Why
areolas.
do you have to be so nasty, Narc? Slow
Shirley
down.
don't agree with me.
You got,
The
you got
Jorns
money
are ugly.
stacking
Yeah,
up.
nah.
Catch up on these super chats.
Super chat. Where have you been? We got a super chat here. Arch, do you really hate the VC Blue 46E? Yes,
got that.
I do. Now, the reason is it's always been the cheap Charlie. It's always been the cheap and nasty FP Jaune. It's not the the
You know what you got?
Vacheron.
Look, Archie, shut the fuck up for a sec. You
I
guys are a
think
bunch
it's
of
completely
sheep. No,
wrong.
1 sec. I gotta go. All I want to say is, as soon as you hear exclusive, yeah, it's good. No, exclusive doesn't mean it's a beautiful watch. I'm sorry. I want to create a brand and make it exclusive. Just so I can sell it to you stupid fucks. Exclusivity doesn't mean it's a gorgeous looking watch. No. FP Jaunes, in my opinion, are fucking ugly. Sorry, JJ.
I'd rather get a Breguet than the 56.
Yes, Breguet's French. In my opinion, the Breguets look a lot better than FP Jaunes. You guys are a bunch of sheep. Sorry,
Also,
Roy. You
Jordan is
agree with me.
French.
Come on, we're tank top brothers. Come on, agree with me.
No, you gotta get like the most expensive
Tank top
Jordan you can. Wear it with
brothers.
basketball shorts and a wife beater. That's the way to go.
I just don't get you guys. Yeah, that's a nice watch, exclusive. No, it's a fucking ugly looking watch. I'm sorry, CB. Sell that stupid watch. Get one without
Here
the
we go.
fucking date.
CB $5.
We've already read it.
We did.
Here we go. We've got another
There's a super
here.
chat coming in from the Jimmy. There's a super chat.
Oh, Arch. Here we go. Here we go. We got a super chat here. CB $5. Narc is an inspiration. Yes. And CB $5. Narc. Arch, pull Narc clock. I'm cementing you. It is his spit image. He sent me
What's this watch here? I like this watch here.
Oh yeah,
It is his spit image.
This is
That's beautiful English.
Yeah. I'm just
I
getting
love
it up on
that
the screen.
English.
Just hang on.
Yeah, Danny. Danny says, would you like the FB Jaune if it was $100 watch? No, they wouldn't. They want to pay 50 grand. You guys are a bunch of sheep. The Breguets are nice looking watches. Archie, you're a trendsetter. You're not a sheep.
The Brexters.
It helps that Dave's got no other watches to sell you.
There we go, Narc.
Actually, I like that.
What's
You can
not?
use it as your
What's
avatar.
of choice?
Actually, I like
Hey,
it. That's
we
a
gotta-
talking piece.
And
That's a conversation starter.
Narc.
Yeah.
This is a conversation starter, you stupid fucks. You guys don't get it. And you know, if a woman mentions something, she's into anal sex. Otherwise, she wouldn't say anything. This is how you screen the bitches. Wear this watch, and you get a lot of gay guys. All right, that's the downside. But you guys are a bunch
I
of
love
sheep
this
here.
watch. It's always
Yes.
sort of 12 o'clock. It's always 12 o'clock.
No, and it's the best to get this. No, if you get this watch, they have them 60 millimeters. The bigger, the better.
I like
Maybe
bigger
90
and better,
millimeters.
Mark.
Yes. Archie, forget ball washing the donors here. Call out CB for the fucking watch. The date ruins it. Don't be a ball washer, you needy fuck. Seriously. You're a sellout.
Who?
You.
Me?
CB,
What
I
did
love
I
this.
do?
Yeah. No, you kiss fucking CB's ass. Fuck that flexing cunt. I love you, CB. I love you. I gotta go. I might go on Tim Wright's show. Now I'm a watch guy. I gotta go.
I don't know what to say. Sometimes the narc, does he add class to the show? Can I ask you that? What do you think? Does he add class and
the refinement he brings is something else.
Yeah, it does. He does bring some refinement, doesn't he?
Very much.
Yeah. I don't know what else we can do there, but I got to tell you something, guys. Seriously, we've got another super chat. Herman Rance, $5. Don't screw this up. Francois, Paul, Jean, Yinach, Shmem, Oves, Ich, Rao. Francis, Paul, Jean, Yi, March, Sam, Oves, Ich, Rao. No idea what he's saying there, but yeah, thank you, Herman, for the super chat. CB, $5. Keep tickling Kessler. Pull up the other one I sent you. And fake narc. I retract. I love narc. Everyone loves narc, don't they? Don't you agree, Kesslowitz?
You gotta sprinkle him in, like a little salt and pepper, a little narky poop, drive by, but small doses.
He's a little spice on top there.
Do you need to seek any permission from your wife when you got the perpetual, or you just did it?
Like Roy said, I brought it up. It wasn't. I didn't ask the question, "Can I?" But it was like, "Hey, this is a really good deal. I really want to do this. I'm gonna do it."
What did she say? Oh, don't do it. You got
Go
enough
for it.
watches.
No, she's never. She doesn't care.
She doesn't care. We've got Easy Company joining us. Thank you, Easy, for joining us on the show. We do appreciate Mr. Easy.
Well, I appreciate you, Arch.
Yeah, I got to tell you something.
Did CB send you something?
Yes.
What's going on here?
Yeah. So Kessler, do you just have like an itch right now for another watch? Is that why you've been looking at all these different things, or
no? Opposite. I'm in like a lull. I'm in a holding pattern.
Gotcha.
Holding pattern. I'm just thinking long term. Because most of the watches that I look at, I like, but I've either had something like it or it just doesn't do it for me anymore. So I'm just.
That's one of the things where it's like, even if you like something, unless it's really adding something that I don't have, and it's the version of this particular complication watch, whatever, that's really going to hold my attention. That's where I struggle for adding something.
Right.
I don't think it's the right way to go, to be honest with you, Kessler.
In what way?
I don't think I could sell. I don't think I could sell my Patek to get a Jean.
Oh no, I'm with you. I know that. I'm with you.
I mean,
I don't think I would.
I
Either.
love it. I love the Havana. Would be so cool.
Yeah.
Right. But I just don't think I could do it. And the other thing is too, with John, is it really like he's gone a bit weird too? He said a few weird stuff. I I don't know.
Can I tell you though, no bullshit. At the boutique meetup they had, all the guys I talked to were super cool and really into watches. It was really good conversations. You know, it's kind of a cool a club to get into.
Once you have it, you get invited to more things to talk to people.
Hey, Kessler. I've got to be honest. There's been a lot of talk about you, Kessler, at the moment. There's been a lot of talk. You're the flavour of the month after the meetup. You're not going to be able to satisfy all parties. You're taking what OC says as gospel.
I'm not.
Really not. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
That's
you
what
are.
Nicholas says.
I know, and I just listen to what Watch Nick says, and I take it for what it is, because I'm a simp. What's your view, Kessler? What's your view?
Sorry?
You want everyone to get on, I get it, but what's the tactic here, big boy?
No tactic.
I
think a lot of words. You got feedback. I'm hearing myself. Is it just me?
Yeah, no, it's everything.
Oh, really? What about now?
Maybe that's
better. Yeah.
No,
Still doing it.
I'll put my.
How about now? That seems to be better.
What about now, Tesla?
That seems to be better. Look, there's a lot of people putting words in my mouth. I'm not making any allegations of anyone doing anything. All I brought up is that I saw polls with my name, and when I brought it up, he didn't really have any. He didn't want to talk about it, which is all good. It's all good. He didn't want to talk about it. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying, "Oh, I know for a fact that he did these things." No, that's not what I'm saying. I just said, "What's up with these crazy things?" That's all I said.
So let me run something past you. I was on the phone with Tommy earlier, and then I was on the phone with Zane. Tommy was saying that OC messaged everyone. He threatened everyone that was at the Watchnik meetup. Is that true?
No.
Why would Tommy lie?
What do you mean threaten? What does it even mean?
He sent the messages. Tommy told me.
I don't know. Tommy wasn't even there. I don't know. The answer is
Tommy sees everything. And then, Arch, by the way, I was on the phone to Zany Code. He said your Patek's are shit.
I don't care what he says. I don't even know the guy.
Don't be like that, Arch. Zany Code's a legend.
Look, my point to let me tell you this. My point to even asking Watch Nick, I just wanted to say, dude, I'm just fucking around. I'm just playing around. Like, it's all good. That's all I was expecting him to say. You know, like, it's all a joke. It's no big deal. You know, I don't really mean Jamie's a racist. But no, he just like, I don't know what you're talking about, and that's all good. He didn't want to talk about it. It's all good. That's all I was saying. It wasn't inferring that all this is true, or I'm taking anyone's sides.
So listen, did you give Tommy 40% of the meetup money? Did you give him 40%?
Yes. Well, you know, he's a gold digging kind of guy, so he wants.
He's a gold digging bastard.
Okay, 1 minute. I got to catch up on the super chat. Herman rants $5. Masks don't belong in the West. What does he mean? Masks don't belong in the West. And we got CB $5. When you are done filling up, can you pull up the pic for Kessler, big boy?
Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got.
Up. What's up? WhatsApp. Oh my God! Yeah, this is the resonance. You know the resonance. Are you know? I got to be honest with you. With the Jeans themselves, there. What's the go? You've interviewed. What have you told them you want? What have they said to you?
Well, they said a good one to start with is the Havana Brown. You know, you can't even ask for an Elegant. It's out of the question. Same with the Chronomet Blue. That's you can't even bring those up in the.
Does he approve of your choice, Kessler? Does he approve?
Is that the same as an Elegant, or is it
Look, this. Okay, no bullshit. This is probably one of the best Jorans you can get. I mean, this is.
Does AC approve? Did you give him 40%?
Oh, for sure.
I gotta go. Mommy's calling me.
Okay. This is incredible. And when you really dive in, I mean, I'm not the best person to explain it, but when you really dive into how this thing works, it's next level. And it's just a feat of engineering, like not even just the design, but to you look at the back of that thing, it's just, man, it's a work of art.
Nice looking watch, but you can't even tell the time on it. Not that that matters, but it's like, why would you buy that?
You got to be into it. It's got to be. It doesn't
But
even
it's a
have to
nice
be for everyone. They
looking
make
watch.
so few of these. You know, they don't even really need everyone to like it.
Yeah, they make so few of them because no one wants to buy it.
They actually prefer it if you hate it.
Like I will say, to talk some smack on FP Joran, the one with the hand, you know, the hand watch, that's a little bit weak. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Can I ask you something, Keslo? When you were at the event, what watches were they wearing? What did you see on their wrists? What was it?
Well, obviously there were a bunch of FP Jorans. There were a handful of Rolex, couple Pateks. One guy had a U-boat, just like yeah, one guy had like a 50mm U-boat. He just didn't give a fuck.
See, yeah, I'd be tempted to just be like the person wearing the ridiculous 55mm Invicta just to wear it to that.
Yeah,
piss
one
everybody
guy
off.
pulled that off. What else? Yeah, one of the guys was wearing the Elegant. That was really cool.
Is it an elegant or is it an elegant?
Whatever. I don't know. I'm American.
Okay. Okay.
I'm probably not saying it right.
I would, if they had these regularly around me, that would be my challenge, is to figure out at what point what watch just gets me asked to leave before I even sit down.
Right. One guy had a gold Nautilus. I remember seeing that. Yeah. That was cool.
Oh,
you know, whenever you see the guys wearing the Patek, you can, you know, it's an instant conversation. Patek Bros.
Did anyone say anything about your watch when you were there?
Did they say? Of course. Well, one guy I was talking to, you know, he was holding it, and I was explaining it to him, and then when I got done talking about it,
you're the ultimate tire kicker.
Well, he said he has a 3940, and then I went.
Can I ask you something? When you go to these events, have you ever heard of a thing called imposter syndrome?
Of course.
Do you feel like
guys show up with LV suitcases and suits on, and
what LV? What? So say that again.
You know, those guys that show up with LV briefcases and.
Did anyone turn up with an LV briefcase?
No. It was pretty casual. It was pretty, you know, obviously there were blazers and whatnot going, but yeah, it's a good time.
Fuck. Amazing times. That's incredible.
And
that's
you know,
incredible.
to get, you know, this is part of the game too, is to get one of these, you have to keep going to these events. You know, you have to stop in, you have to, you know, show your, you know, you have to.
Wait, you're just adding yourself here.
Here we go.
You've been promised watches. This is why.
This is the Watch Nicholas narrative. Yes, I've been promised watches. Yes.
Right. No, when I look, share screen. When I look at this watch, this is what I think of. Share screen.
No, Naki. No.
All right, no more Lux show. You could do your Lux show on your own. Share fucking screen. I'm not gonna show your father. Nothing. I'm not.
Go fuck yourself, Nark. Go fuck yourself.
Don't you trust me?
No.
You're the most untrustable maggot.
I'm not
ever once was.
I trust you. Fuck me.
I'm not gonna. I promise you, I'm not gonna do anything to danger your show.
No, Nark. Sorry, it doesn't work.
Come
like
on.
That. This is my show. I set the narrative here. Okay.
Yeah, we all dance to Archie's. Archie's the boss here, Nark.
And by the way, Easy, since when did you think you're fucking delusional enough to think you're main show material? Stick to the fucking Lux show, you stupid fuck. You're not main show material.
I'm A grade, sunshine. I'm A grade.
On the Lux show. On the Lux show. When I look at this watch, look, I said it before. I think about two set of big tits with huge areolas. That's what I think about when I look at this watch. It's an ugly-looking watch. I'm sorry.
So is this
I'm sorry.
CB's? Is this CB's, Arch?
Who owns this stupid watch?
It's a resident.
It's a booby watch. Look at it. That's
booby watch.
Yes,
Man,
look.
I don't think Fella has that.
Yeah.
I don't think Fella doesn't have one of those, does he?
Kessler, look at it. You gonna tell me they don't look like two huge breasts with two huge areolas? It's a K watch. Look at it.
No.
I mean, to be fair, I'm thinking about that all the time, no matter what watch I'm looking at.
Heterosexuality.
I mean, look at the guy's wrist and look at the watch. It's clearly too big for his wrist.
You know, I don't know. You got to see it. Sometimes the lens does that. One thing I notice, the perspective.
Has CB got dainty wrist? What has he got? 5-inch wrist? How big is this fucking watch?
I think
I think the biggest Jorns are like just over 40, aren't they? Jorn doesn't make big watches.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
CB's got dainty wrist. You haven't compensating, you flexing fuck. It's an ugly-looking watch. I'm sorry. FP Jorns
It's not
are
an
overrated.
ugly-looking watch. It's a beautiful-looking watch. I just said you can't tell the time on it, but it's a beautiful-looking watch.
Yeah, it's a testicle watch. Someone said testicle watch. Do you see testicles?
No,
Yeah,
Knock. On the medication again. You should.
Why is everyone... No, not seriously.
Knock, you need
This is
medication
circle jerking
again.
at its best, Roy.
The
Roy, at least
doctors are
Roy
not lying,
speaks his
Knock.
mind. Roy
You
doesn't
need-
ball wash anyone. There's too
you
much ball
need-
washing here.
You need the medication again, Knock.
Roy,
we all
this
love
is why
you,
we need
Knock.
straight shooters like you.
We all love you, Knock, but you gotta hop on the medication again.
No, it just does nothing for me, these FB joints. Overrated.
No, it's a beautiful looking watch.
How the hell do you tell the time here? How does an old fuck like CB tell the time here?
You pull out your cell phone.
Now, seriously, Roy, how does an old fuck like CB tell the time here?
Cell phone.
He can't.
Hey, easy. What the fuck are you doing over here?
Oh,
You got a fucking
my
contract
boss.
with me. What
Yeah,
the
go
fuck
to
are you
daddy.
doing
Go to daddy
over-
My boss has sprung me.
Hey.
I'm
I'm gonna
was-
grab you by your fucking ear roll
I
and
was
drag you out. There he is. He's gone.
I gotta
Good
go. I gotta
choice.
go. Look, Roy, please. You're the only person who's got some balls here.
That's okay.
Archie's a fucking sellout. Kessler has to wait until AC tells him what to fucking say. There are no more straight shooters here.
Luxy, what are you doing here?
I'm grabbing you by your
cheating on
fucking
you.
ear roll and getting you off the fucking panel. You
I
are
was
meant to be on the
cheating on
Luxy
you,
show.
Luxi.
Lux, we're growing the fishbowl here. What's wrong?
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Luxy's trying to get Maggot One back in his corner.
Exactly.
I was cheating on you, Luxi.
I see.
Luxy, what are you doing up this early? Did you shit the bed again?
You're getting the suit tailored before Geneva, right? You gotta let that fuck around.
I tell you what was wrong. Okay, that photo, that thing, I just eaten like a pig at the Hyatt.
All right, but we got 2 weeks. You got time to take it to a tailor. Just let an inch out. We're gonna be eating a lot in Geneva. We're taking photos. This is your reputation on the line.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the. Okay,
what are you doing about the shoes? Because we did a lot of walking in New York, and you had your dress shoes, and you got a lot of blisters, and Hoff had to buy you the white New Balance. It didn't really
I'm
go
gonna
with
wear the New Balance everywhere.
with the suit.
Yeah, I'll carry them in a briefcase. Then I can change them as necessary.
No, you got to go super old man. You get the black New Balance and you wear those with the suit as your dress shoes. That's like next level old man right there.
I'll show you. I was going to wear these floor shines.
Those are good. Let's see those. How do they smell? Is it genuine leather? What are we talking here? They need a polish. Now, what color are those?
That's the matte blue.
Ah, that's
matte
nice.
blue.
Yeah, where are those?
Yeah, I got
Are those going to be comfortable to walk around all day in?
Kessler, I'm taking my tux.
No shit.
Yeah, why not? We're going to Patek and VC and
Where have
FP
you
Sport.
been, Patek Philippe? Where have you been? Where have you been, brother?
Wait,
been missing you for weeks.
A tux is a little over the top, no?
Fuck it, everybody white tie.
On that.
And a bow tie. I'm wearing a fucking Patek World Time. That's over the top.
To me,
And
if you're wearing a
reggae.
tux, you got to do it all right, though. You got to get the high gloss shoes, the bow tie. It's a whole fucking
I mean, I feel like if you don't have a tail, on your coat, you're just not dressed well enough.
There's a super chat, Arch.
Super chat. Patel Philippe, $5. Why do you not respect someone who puts stickers on their watch, AC3? Also tell hello to Grant. Easy on deck. Look, I just don't like the way, I think it feels different. When you put stickers all over it, it just feels different. Okay?
So what's your opinion on leaving the grimy green sticker on the back of the case of Rolexes? No go?
I don't hate that because that kind of doesn't come off easily. Just leave it. But putting extra stickers on, like it just feels...
Is there a mold threshold for that?
Gold has got a different feeling to steel. And it just, on your wrist, it just, like, I'm just wearing this, the white gold. It just feels amazing. Come on, Kessler, you don't have stickers on your Patek, do you?
No.
It's just fucking, it's so, look, if you got to put stickers on it, don't wear it. Just fucking put it away. Don't wear it.
I mean, if you get the watch new and there's still a couple on there, I wouldn't be quick to pull them off. But all, like, the protective sticker shit, fuck that.
Oh, see, I'm crazy. Even the ones on the inside of the lugs, I got to take those off right away. It bothers me if they're there.
Yeah, like even on the Patek Deployant, it has like a little sticker where the metal touches. I just leave that. I just leave it on there. It makes it feel new.
Archie, I have a question for you.
What are you doing on this show here? You're supposed to be on Lux's show.
Well, I like to get around a bit.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
How is it possible? And I want you to tell me the truth. But how is it possible to get a Mrs.
Is this guy related to Terry?
To get a Mrs. Lie? How does one sort of go about that?
Oh, that's you got to pay for that information. I don't say that for free.
Well, I'm staff. I can get a staff discount.
You've got a beautiful wife. You've got the best.
Well, of course, I got the best of the best, but
really
I'm just asking for the punters. I'm asking for the punters.
I'll see it. Just give me 1 minute. I gotta do something. 1 minute.
There you have it.
because it's windy and shit out.
Breguet, boys, Breguet. We got Patek Philippe, $10.
Archie.
We're gonna wait for Archie on this one.
Archie needs to answer the question. I'm asking for the punters.
Yeah. Kessel, I think you'd do better with the 3970. I think that would be a better purchase than the Jorn.
A lot more money.
It is. My God, that watch it walks that modern vintage line so well.
Sure.
Well,
I mean, I just started looking at them. I haven't even seen them in person, so I'm looking forward to the museum and watches and wonders, and hopefully I can.
They are a little bit stubby because they're 36 by 13, but so if that bothers you, that would I'd say would be the main thing.
Sure.
We need some super chats in the afternoon, Patel. We can't live off water and bread forever. We need super chats in the afternoon.
Yes, yeah, I was just looking at those 3970s and the 5270s, and I know the 5270s is too big, but Tan brought up those 5940s, and that might be the
Or
ticket.
you mean the 5970? Yeah, I mean, so many people consider that to be the best of the modern perpetual chronos. You still get the Omania movement. It's not really oversized like the 52, but it's it's a full size, modern size watch. But it has, I don't know. I don't like the lugs especially that are on that one as much as the more classic lugs of the 3970. I don't know. I love that classic case profile of the 3970.
Well, you're missed, Patel. You're missed in the afternoon. However, I understand it's a bit early for you. No worries, mate.
Yeah, it would be cool to see them in person to compare.
Yeah, I think with the 5970, I think you can get a pretty good deal on the white metal ones. Relatively speaking, I think I've seen like the white dial, white gold with the blackened indices for pretty decent prices. Although I haven't looked in about 6 to 9 months.
Hey, we got a super chat here. FP, we got Patek Philippe $10. AC3, would you agree? If I didn't pay for your trip to America, you wouldn't have met Mrs. Lai. Yes, that is actually true.
Archie,
that at least deserves you buy a bottle of 2006 Penfolds Grange at FP Jean Bouquet.
That's what I'm talking about.
I can only imagine the markup at FP Jean on that product. Are you able to bring? Is it BYO? Can you bring? I'll bring some Penfold.
It's a 200 Swiss franc corking fee.
Oh wow!
You are joking, aren't you?
I'm guessing. I have no idea.
Okay.
Archie, answer my question for the punters. Where does one go to meet a Mrs. Lai?
You have to find somebody who has some sufficient means.
Yeah, but where does one find
everywhere?
One's own Mrs. Lai?
You got to find. You can go to Hanoi and find that. You could go to Ho Chi Minh City. You got to mix in the right circles.
Well, I'm not asking. I'm only asking, for the punters.
Well, it's not easy. You got it. These are trade secrets. I could do a consultancy, but I don't give that advice for free.
We got a super chat from my mate, Mr. Patel.
CB, we got a CB super chat, $5. Kessler, give us your three dream Patek collection, 3-piece dream collection.
Well, the absolute ultimate would be the 5470p. Pull that up for the guys. That is the ultimate, in my opinion. That is just like, for me personally, it's so sporty. It fucking is incredible.
Hang on, let me get this baby.
10th of a second mono pusher. It's just fucking epic.
I'm going to call these up. Just get me one moment.
This is the strap on this piece is the same one I custom ordered, just because I think it's
super chat. Okay, let's get the first reference. Patek, what was it? 54.
70.
We have a super chat.
54. What's it? 54.
70p.
Okay, here it is. Okay, so it's okay, beautiful. That's I can see. Okay, 1 minute. We've got to finish this one before we go to the next one. Number two. Number two.
Number 2, I would probably go. Oh, that's hard, man. I'd probably go with another grand comp. I'd probably go like 5373p. That's another one. Little similar. A little similar to the 5470, but these are just so fucking cool.
And third one, last one.
Let's probably minute repeater, maybe 5316 platinum.
Okay, dokie. There we go there. And we got a super chat from Patek Philippe, $5. Grant, now that you're on the main show, give us a proper Archie and Bangers story at Soy Cowboy.
No, what happens in Bangkok
Bangers
will stay in Bangkok. That's
Look,
right.
I can't give you the secrets, Grant, because your wife is fucking nice. Your wife is really lovely. You know, you gotta. I can't. If you found someone with money, would you leave her for somebody with money? You wouldn't. She's lovely. Your wife is so beautiful.
Speak of the devil, Archie just said, your wife is so beautiful. She just opened the door. Archie loves you.
I think you're a good couple. You're a good couple. You're happy. There's more to life than money.
Well, I don't need any sort of money because I've had offers, but no, to love is a good idea, and you don't need a lot of money. You just need the fridge full, as Eddie Vedder once said. The true success is having the bills paid and the fridge is full, and that's it.
Gas in the car, and a tank of gas in the car.
Yep. Archie just said, your wife is beautiful.
She is very beautiful. She's really, you are such a lucky guy, Easy.
Oh, well, luck is what you make of it. And yes, I'm happy with her. And yeah.
We got another super chat, CB, $5. So proud of you, Kessler. You grew up so much since you're glass shitter.
Glass hooter. What a disaster that was. That's the thing, bro. Once you hold these Pateks, fuck, the glass hoot is like a toy. Fuck, it just doesn't even compare. It doesn't even compare.
No, that's a fair point. Patek Philippe, $5. Kessler, you got to add. You got to add a 5208R in the mix. AC3, pull it up and show.
Me. Let's see it. See,
real.
It's rare that it's, I don't dive into these Pateks that are in the stratosphere, but I appreciate them.
Patel,
wow.
We need super chats in the afternoon. We're living off water and bread. I know it's early, but can you send Luxy a couple of bob? Because we're doing it hard in the afternoons. There's no super chats.
Everything's been tough lately, but we're trying our bestest. That's the important thing. Dirk Diggler, $5. Easy alone made the Vietnam Education Index drop 20%.
Mr. Dirk, who hates me, I will say to you this. I had a Vietnamese, very influential man in Hanoi. He said, Easy, I hate the education system here. He said, with your help, I will change it. Well, we went to America, to Boston, okay? And we spoke with our sister school, and we ran out of time because we tried to get a new school off the ground, and there's so much red tape and working with all the banks. But we did go to Boston, but it couldn't happen because he got old, and we ran out of time. Basically, we sort of ran out of time. So, Mr. Dirk Digglers, that is the story. But we did go to Boston, and to do a bit of just a little bit of leg work, and we couldn't get it done.
Yes. I get it. I get it.
It is not easy, Arch. It's not easy, but
Nothing's
you got to.
easy, okay?
No, you got to do your best, and
what can you do when things don't work out? It's just very vicious. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing.
Yeah, I know. No, I know, and I still do my best. Well, with all the haters out there, I'm still, I'm still teaching English, and I try to look after the kids, and I will say this, Arch.
Yeah.
It's not about speaking English. It's about being a good. It's about being a good sort of human being. That's what we're trying to teach these kids. And yeah, and also you'll learn a bit of English, but it's about being a good sort of person. And that's what I try to teach them.
Yeah, you do have a lot of care for your kids. You care a lot for them and to make sure they do well, don't you?
Yes, and
you don't get into
and as I say to them, when they get sort of naughty and they don't want to listen, I say, hands up if you love mum and dad. Hands up. Put your hands up.
Wait, easy. Sorry, I got to do it. Look. If I had a gong, I'll gong you. You're not cutting it. I'm sorry.
No.
No. You're diluting your brand.
No.
This show's beneath you. Stick to Luxy. No, I'm sorry. By the way, this is a nice watch. I love this watch.
No, I was talking to Uncle Arch.
No, no one gives a fuck. Do you think he gives a fuck? Do you think he's listening to you?
Archie cares.
Kessler, are you interested in this watch?
Oh, of course, man.
This is a beautiful watch. Blow it up. Let me have a closer look.
That's a fucking amazing watch there.
Well, you got the three pillars.
Get this for you?
You got the three pillars here. You got the chronograph, you got the perpetual, and the minute repeater. Man.
Yeah, an actual grand complication.
Yeah. How much?
Over $1 million.
Crazy like two Aussie. They're amazing.
Right, how much can I see get it for you? How much can I see get it for you?
You're going with that, huh?
Yeah, this is a beautiful watch.
You're sticking with that narrative.
Yeah. Fuck FB Sean.
Okay, guys, it's time for us to wrap this baby up.
What? You taking your son to work?
I want to say a big thank you. And guys, we want you to upvote.
You got one more here from Patel.
Boy, he said he looks up to you. He said earlier he looks up to you.
AC3, pull up the 2438/1, the watch that Charlie Sheen famously said the only watch that keeps Warlock time. 2438. 2438.
I don't.
Yeah, that is
Patel.
That is fucking beyond amazing.
Is it okay to have a couple of dollars in the afternoon? We need it. We need it in the afternoon shows.
Thomas Burnett, £5. Respect us to Patek Philippe for doing the pre-show. Subby Talk, remembering our past. Subby Blues Brothers blue shirt. And Sirocco with that topic. Yes, that's very, very true. True indeed there. Let's go through. Guys, remember to upvote. And let's thank our punters today. Let's go and thank them all today. We had Hippo Lord, Marco 131, Dodger, Patek Philippe, 10% Rolex, Ross, Rachel Brady Network, Patek Philippe, Patek Chris, Will Money, CB, Malik Diamond, CB, Jefferson Exotic, CB, Ken Fresno, Herman Rance, CB, Herman Rance, CB, Patek Philippe, CB,
Well,
Patek Philippe, CB, Patek Philippe, Dirk Diggler, Patek Philippe, Thomas Burnett. Guys, that's the show for today. It's been a great one. Naki, we love you. Big thank you to Keslow for coming on, man. Roy, thank you. Mike the Snake. Easy Company, thank you for mustering the troops and promoting the show.
Tan. Great pre-show with Tan.
Yes, especially with Tan. We want to say a big thank you for that.
And the man.
Guys, that's the show for today. We'll be back tomorrow. I love yous all. See you later, guys. Oh, just got to press the...
Archie Luxury jumps on a Boeing jet, leaves behind a family, no regrets. He's got a birthday on your old Shanghai. Eyes are on Mrs. Lai, the reason why. While in Brisbane, the tears roll strong. Chinese whispers called him to Hong Kong. Pack up your bags and off you go. Leave behind the begging for the Luxy show. Archie flies where the dragon soared to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Archie's chasing dreams in the mystic land. Mrs. Lai brings coffee to his hand. Family's calls echo on the phone. He's miles away, lost, but he's not alone. In old Shenzhen's glow, he likes to stray. With Mrs. Lai, they bonk till the light of day. Pack up your bags and off you go. He's not showing up to New York, what show? Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Though the tears roll down in Brisbane town, Archie's 3-inch dick flops all around. Celebrations in the neon night, forgetting home, he's chasing new Asian delight. Pack up your bags and off you go. Leave the begging for the beach ball show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Weeks later, Archie leaves his playground, comes back home, he's Brisbane bound. Comes up with stories that he's going bust, has to fool the punters to gain their trust. Pack up your bags and off you go. Leave the begging for the beach ball show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Archie spent the punter's money, he's in a fix. Spins a story that he can't eat bricks. All the lonely simps believe his scam. Grab all their cash, shove it in his hand. Pack up your bags and off you go. He didn't bother with the New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Comes on streams, he cries poor again. His mate Tan gives him $5,000, maybe 10. Archie thinks he's a big swing dick, cause the punters fall for his tipsy shtick. Pack up your bags and off you go. Didn't bother with the New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore.